and that one has it's practically a composite servant. So I don't think they'll do a secondary Avenger composite servant that's just like Lobo. They're gonna do it. They'll put it in another class because I think it's the mixture of Theodric the Great and the Beast of Gwynnedwan, Givadon, Givadon. There's the details about him. But yeah, you can talk about that. I know.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
have fun. Drag me if you need.
See you, Cad.
では、前に出ます。
Hey guys, give me 1 second just to fill up my water and I'll be right back. Hello, guys. Oh. Can't believe I'm fucking dead. Yeah. King, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it, my man. Uh. Okay. Oh, I gotta plug that in. Dad, I did get the go live tweet out. Do me the favor, give that some love. Waiting on this to come back. Let me grab you guys today's sauce while I'm at it. There it is. Hello, chat. So, I'm hanging in there. This has been a rough couple of days. Basically, I don't know what happened, but as you guys know, I took Tuesday off because I wasn't feeling right. I was feeling tired. And then Wednesday morning, I went into work. And I was like just dying at work. Like my lymph nodes were on fire. I could not like actually like function. And so I told my dad, it's like, I'm just gonna head home. Like I can't exist like this. And he's like, okay, just go home, you know. All right. Let me change camera here. Okay. There, I won't look as pale as I actually am right now. But if you can believe it, I'm actually on the better end of this right now. It is some type of really nasty sinus infection as far as I can tell. I have been like, not that anyone needs this info, but I have been, you know, like you get the nasty yellow colored mucus and stuff, and it's like a couple of them I've actually had red, which, you know, obviously kind of not a good sign, but you kind of get that even when you get like a nosebleed or something like that. It's usually just a sign that like you've got a lot of irritation up in your sinuses and stuff. So I'm not super worried about it, and it hasn't been like a consistent thing. It's usually like right after I wake up from being asleep. But yeah, I've had quite a bit of like sinus pressurey headache. I've had nasty, like right now I'm actually on the sore throat part. And I've had like a lot of drainage. So I'm doing what I can. I was actually gargling salt water right here before stream. That helped out quite a bit. But we're going to try to make it through this stream as much as possible. I can't guarantee you guys a full stream. I can only guarantee you that I can try. I know I've been gone for like 3 days. I'm sorry about that. It's just kind of been one of those weeks. I can't really plan for being sick, and that sort of thing just happens. So if you need to leave early, no need to push yourself. Yeah, and I appreciate it regardless. I'm just trying to make sure that like we're good and that I'm not gonna like completely flake on you guys for the week. I don't want to do that. I'm sure you guys don't want me to do that. So it is what it is. Again, just a reminder, we did get the go live message out. Do me the favor, go give that some love. JP has news, NA has news. So we're going to be tackling all of that here shortly. Actually, what is this? Oh, I was going to say, is that not like actually working? We won't haunt you yet. Yeah. I've been so out of it. I've barely been able to like keep my AP down. It's been rough. So, Kryzang, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Take care of yourself, man. We like healthy cat. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. I like the big thing that is concerning for me right now is my throat. So it's like, but yeah, I can't emphasize enough. I don't have a fever anymore. The past couple days I've had a fever, which I'm wearing the like fleece here just in case, but that was a huge problem I was having. Oh, also, chat, I got something off of my story pull on JP. Where was it? I got a third Creamhild, which is definitely nice. Creamhild is one of the ones that, you know, like I've liked, but I didn't want to roll the banner too heavy. So she just randomly showed up on one of the polls, and I was like, sweet. Don't have to worry about it. That's a lot of ice cream hild. My cream hill's done, other than obviously in P levels, so definitely good for me. Ugh. Hello, Wood. If you have difficulty speaking, there's no need to stream until you get better. It's all good. It's not that I have difficulty speaking. It's I don't know how long I'll be able to, like, you know, kind of project and enunciate and stuff like that. So if you see me pause to take a sip and stuff like that, just understand it is what it is. Did I roll for lip? No, the only one that I've rolled is the third banner, and I think that's the only one I'm going to roll in the end. That's not good. Why is that at 400? God. So much shit. It's all these, like, they're giving away single foes, and I'm like, please stop. That is so cancerous for the mailbox. It is just stockpiling up. Cab won't read the entire B movie script tonight then. Yeah, but I would have to read it successively faster every time the word B got mentioned. Will I roll for Shark Cream? No, probably not. Not on JP at least. Like NA, I may reevaluate that sort of thing, but chat, I'm gonna be real with you guys here for a second. I just taking a brief aside here from FGO and talking real life, okay? So in terms of real life here, I have numerous repairs I have to do on the house. This is going to cost me a shit ton of money. Okay? I basically have not had a raise at my job in like 4 or 5 years. So like pre-COVID. Okay? Now, the thing is, I have been told by my father I will be getting a raise, but we are waiting on pretty much one of our biggest clients ever to pay us. So until that happens, it's just not going to happen. I have had to purchase a new car, which now means lease or no, that I have a new car payment. So that's quite a bit. And frankly speaking, then there's like gacha and other things. It's like, how much do I want to spend on gacha? I would like to minimize it when I can. Basically, if it's not a Saberface, I don't want to have to spend money. If it's not a GSSR, a like guaranteed pick or something like that, I really don't want to have to spend money on the game. And I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that's just the likelihood of where we're at the moment. I need to tighten my belt. I am not necessarily like broke or poor or anything like that. But like, for instance, I saw the other day people were trying to claim fast food sales are down, and therefore we might be headed into a recession. Okay? And I laughed because I basically said, no, that's not why. If anything, if you're in a recession, fast food sales would be spiking. Why are fast food sales down? Because if you guys have been paying attention to the news, McDonald's just admitted that they are too expensive and that they are going to lower their price over the next year. When you go to McDonald's and something that used to cost you $7 now costs you $15, you don't feel like going to McDonald's anymore. And there's actually no fucking reason for it. Maybe like $10, sure. 15, you literally had a 100% price increase plus. So it's like, yeah, I got tired of paying too much. That's why I've been cooking for myself. Admittedly, chat, this week I've been ordering out again. Forgive me, but I don't feel much like cooking right now. It is what it is. So. But, like, yeah, no, it's a problem. So, of course, that sort of thing's going to be an issue. So it's like, yeah, I've stopped door dashing. I'm tightening my belt on all fronts. And it's just like, this is just the state of things at the moment. It's like life is cracking down and I can choose to either just keep taking it on the chin or I can just say no and dodge. So I'm dodging. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to spend any money on the game anymore. It just means like, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking like, hey, maybe for like the time being, there's no real fucking point in spending that much money. I'll also say this, for better or worse, and I'm not trying to doom here, right? But for better or worse, until the devs get their acts together with FGO and we know what the future looks like, I don't really advise anybody to spend money right now. I think this is their problem. And I think this is a problem they've brought on themselves. Like, I hate to say it, guys, but don't be an idiot. Wait for them to clarify what they intend to do. And then you can decide whether or not you want to spend more money. Like, if a unit that comes along is really desired to you and you would spend money regardless, go for it. But exercise caution. That's really all I'm trying to say. Also, half the time it takes you just as much time as going to a regular restaurant. Oh, it probably takes me less. If I'm cooking. Like, with the urge to cook and do things returns, you'll probably know you're on the mend. I intend to like do a grocery delivery like tomorrow or something. Like I said, I've now had this for like 3 days, and like the 3 days were like this. Okay, and now we're kind of like here. So it's like, chat, you are here. I've already bottomed out and I'm coming back and I can feel it. With fast food, I'd rather pay $10 for a fast, or sorry, if I have to pay $10 for a fast food burger, I'd rather spend an extra $5 to $10 on all the ingredients and cook myself and also get the leftovers. So net plus IMO. Yeah, I agree with that. I've seen people try to make the claim of like, oh, it costs just as much money to go buy it from the grocery store. And it's like, no, you don't. Like, the only comparison that I've seen that tried to make it very similar was like completely disingenuous and being like, you have to buy every single condiment. You have to buy every single thing from scratch. And I'm like, you realize that if you cook regularly, you have half of these things already on you. So it's like, yes, maybe the first time you do it, it costs a bunch. But doing it again costs nothing. Like it basically is like pennies on the dollar in comparison. So it's like, I don't get it. People are stupid. Don't you have apps like Too Good to Go on USA? What do you mean? Play cool. Sorry, forgive me too, chat. I may have just brain fog about things tonight. You're like 150 cent quarts farming from the last one alone. Oh god, chat. I had to get in an argument with some idiot, some asshat on Twitter the other day. I some of you guys that follow me, you probably saw it, but like I didn't want to engage with it too much. I think I only typed like one response to the guy, but it was like the guy was basically insisting that he went to Pity last year in Arcuid. Okay. And that saving all the way from Arcuid to current day, he only has 400 cent quarts. And he was disputing that FGO does not generously give out like quarts. And I was like, my dude, just in that time period, if you saved for 1 year and all you did was log in, we're not talking like do your dailies. We're not talking do your weeklies. We're not talking play events, chat. If all you did was log in, you would get 300 quarts. And the guy was like, his response was to show me his login bonus. And I was like, you're proving my point. You're not actually fucking playing the game. Because if you actually fucking play the game, you can easily save more than 1,000 quarts a year. Easily. Like, just fucking play the game. And no, doing strengthenings and interludes is not a whale thing. Especially not with how JP operates them, where now you can do them for units you don't even have. So it's like, every single one of these troglodyte people on Twitter and Reddit and wherever that you encounter them that sit there and shit on the game and say, like, you can't get this stuff. I'm like, they're such full of shit liars. They're talking about stuff they don't even know. They literally have not played the game. It's that simple. And I'm so sick and tired of people talking trash that either don't play the game or have never played the game. Like, so you could be a former player, but if you haven't played in like 5+ years, I really don't want to hear your opinion on the game. You haven't played since so many things have changed. So it's like, it just is what it is. Tried to call the story bad as well, exposed himself twice over at least. Yeah, I interacted with him once, and when he basically proved my point, I just stopped. I did not respond to him again. Also, that was like literally the day that I was getting sick, so I just didn't want to like engage at that point. I missed having these talks with you. Thank you, Sparty. Appreciate it, man. The one Twitter post that said every servant below is 4 stars unusable. That was a different thing that Tutu was talking about, and she was talking about how like that made her upset as well. And I'm like, yeah, I hate to break it to you, but this is just the way it is. You see this stuff all the time. If you're somebody that plays FGO, it's a completely different world. And not to get too political, okay, chat? But this reminds me a little bit of the political situation in the US, where it's basically like the equivalent of two sides staring at each other saying different things. And if you're on the other side of the spectrum, you sit there and you go like, what are they talking about? Like, you don't even know because it doesn't make any sense to you. You're sitting there going like, they're making these baseless accusations. So it's a very similar thing. And I think it's just the way we are nowadays as a society. People just absolutely fling shit at the wall and hope something sticks. Every game has naysayers that have never actually played it. Hoyo, FGO, Arknights, etc. Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong, I get it. And to a degree, like, let me be clear here. Has Hoyo earned it? Yeah, absolutely. Has FGO earned it? Yeah, absolutely. Like, there are things that, like, these games have earned a bad reputation for. The issue is people are well, like, within their desire to keep, like, perpetuating falsehoods and, like, made up bullshit to try to make things seem worse than they actually are. There's so much tribalism when it comes to gacha games, it's ridiculous. Oh. I saw so many QRTs. Yeah, it is what it is. Apparently the person who posted that has never even played FGO. Yeah, they were an HSR player, and it's just like, I'm sorry. I hate to break it to HSR players, but show some fucking respect. Your entire game is a ripoff of FGO. It is what it is. Okay? And if they don't think that, it's fucking hilarious to me. Because it's pretty clear that that's what, like, Hoyo was trying to do with it. That doesn't mean that, like, Hoyo hasn't done original stuff. That doesn't mean it's not a good game. Just that, like, when you see players doing this shit and bad-mouthing the game that their game is functionally based off of, it makes me go, like, Omega lol. But that is probably one of my big criticisms of a lot of Hoyoverse fans. I'm not going to say this is true of every single one, but there definitely is, and tell me I'm wrong, chat. There definitely is a group of Hoyo fans that it is baby's first game. They have never played anything else. They are completely unaware, and they insist that it is like the best thing ever because of that. So it's like, it's fine. You can enjoy other games, but like, holy crap. I have noticed that that is a particular issue with Hoyoverse fans more than any other fandom, and I don't know why. Literally Genshin players. Yeah, I think Genshin started a lot of that. And I think it's just because, like, Genshin got a whole bunch of people to check out video gaming, in effect. There are people that don't know how to make a team to finish, to actually finish harder content. Let me be clear here. This is true of FGO, so that's not a unique complaint. That is unfortunate but true, right? Like, it just is what it is. Sorry, chat. I'm just looking for my clippers. I've got trash all over my desk. I need to get rid of it right now. Again, this is what happens when you get sick. You just, like, basically have shit everywhere. I don't know where it is. Guess I'll deal with a hangnail slowly but surely, the old-fashioned way. There it is. Ugh. Genshin was my first gacha when it released, to be honest. And I think that's fine. But, like, for instance, I'll give you an example, right? There were a lot of Genshin fans that didn't know that it was based off of Breath of the Wild. Like, I have legitimately, unironically seen Genshin fans claim that they invented the glider mechanic. And I've been like, tell me more. And I don't know why, right? Like, it is what it is. I think it's like, it's one thing if you didn't know, like, hey, there was another gacha game. It's one thing if you didn't know that, like, I don't know, like some obscure mechanic had been used before. But that's a pretty, like, on the nose one, and I have literally seen people, like, claiming that, like, oh, this game's a copycat of Genshin because it used the glider mechanic. And then if you combat them on it, they'll be like, well, Genshin made it popular. And I'll be like, yeah? Really? It made it popular, huh? That's why they took it from someone else. No, it is what it is. I basically, I don't hold that against all Genshin fans. I just hold it against the like idiots sitting there saying that stuff. It just makes me immediately like, if you're somebody that says that type of stuff, I just write you off. I just don't think anything else. Oh yeah, so on the side chat. On the side, Steve got banned from Discord. And he got rebanned just a couple hours ago for ban evasion. And we still have no idea what he did. At all. If he even did anything. He thinks one of the, like, hentai servers he was on got whacked. Ugh. The budget ones especially? Yeah. What did Steve do? Steve didn't even do anything. It's I've actually seen this happen to one other person before, and it's basically the exact same scenario of like they hit a server that the person was like on, and like everybody got banned. Everyone. And it was like, what? Like, why? Gliders exist in real life. It can't be a game mechanic. They could just copy real world stuff. Yeah, like, it is what it is. Art link needs updating. Thank you. Sorry. I did forget about that. Here's today's artwork chat. Go give the artist some love. Okay. Also, I feel like full disclosure here is necessary, chat. I have found someone on the dating app that lives in Florida, is blonde, likes the Fate series, and her favorite character is Saber. So the only problem is I'm a little sick, so I can't meet with her right now. Cat is getting catfished? Dude, I swear to God, like, if this is a catfish, this is the most elaborate catfish ever. Okay? Is it Steve in a wig? I don't know. You got a doppelganger? No. Send her your Twitch link. She knows I stream. She's cool with it, which is nice. Like, I can't tell you guys how many times over the years I've met somebody that I thought would work, and then they were like the most judgmental, like, sad, like, just ill-tempered, foul-mouthed piece of shit in the end. Like, they basically just did nothing good for me other than teach me what to look out for and not to trust people. And I hate that. I want to find somebody that I can trust, not the other way around. Which one of you in chat is doing this? I don't know. So, like, I'm excited. Hopefully we'll see. Like, we'll find some way to get together at some point. More importantly, it seems like she's fine with doggos. That's good. Yeah, the problem that I'm gonna have an issue with maybe is that she is a cat, and I have lived with cats for a long time, but cats are terrible for my health. I have allergies, and the dogs don't bother me because they are, how should I put it? Like, they are very, like, long-haired. So, like, their dandruff does not, like... Sorry, not dandruff, dander. Does not aggravate my allergies too much. But pets absolutely do. Or, sorry, cats. Cats absolutely do. She doesn't have a cat. She has a lion cat. I hope so. Yeah, I'm excited. I've been on that dating app for like a year, and I'm gonna be real with you, chat. There's maybe like 5 people I've met that I thought that I could form a relationship with the entire time. And I'm active on it like most days. So congrats, hope it goes well. Thank you. That she shines more in the other two routes? I wouldn't say she shines more in the other two routes, but what dating app? I'm not telling chat. That's exactly how I get catfished. I've tried dating app for like a year and got nothing. So if people saw my dating app, they would just be like, Cad, you're being too fucking judgy. And I'm dead serious, chat. If you saw some of the women that have attempted to match with me, you would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, just settle. Just pick one, man. The thing for me, I have learned I don't get along with certain types of people, particularly like the like super normie. If you don't have like an open mind about things, even if it's not like you sharing the hobbies, if you can't fathom somebody else having a hobby and that makes you jealous and upset, I can't date you. And that's just the truth of the matter. I think the thing that has been so depressing for me being on the dating app is not that like I don't have a chance with these women. I have a chance with a lot of women, actually. The thing that I don't like is that almost all of these women have no fucking personality. Their personality is, I want TSA pre-check. Which, chat, is the equivalent of saying, I want to travel. They don't have a hobby. Their hobby is spending your money. Their hobby is not doing anything and acting like they're the catch. And I'm just like, it is some of the cringiest shit you'll ever see. Like some of these women are just so vapid, right? And I'm sure to a degree, men on the app are the same way. Okay? I'm not going to say this is like a gender specific issue, but it's like, we wonder why there's such a hard time dating. I want to know who you are, not what you want to do. I want to meet someone. I want to like know their interests and likes, not like, oh, they just want to travel. And then like they've posted a picture of themselves in a bikini and I'm like, cool, you look hot. This doesn't tell me anything. And then you're like, oh God, men are such pigs. All they do is hit on me. Yeah, because that's all they can do. There's no in. There's no other way to get to know you. Like, you don't leave them any outlet. So it's like, I should have told the girl when I first started talking to her, I was like, it's so refreshing to meet somebody that has their own hobbies and interests. And I really do mean that. The more of these women you look at, the more you realize that a lot of women, not all women, but a lot of women are like one type. And if you know the cheat code for like getting into that, you're good. You'll absolutely have your pick of the litter for the rest of your life. But you might also hate your life. So it is what it is. They don't feel like people. You're right. They don't. And it's a big sad. I think to someone like me that's a little bit more geeky and like nerdy, I like the idea of, you know, like having somebody that actually like has their own interests and their own hobbies and stuff like that. A lot of NPCs out there, pretty much. I think the word is shallow to describe these people. Yes, that's probably a really, really good one. but then they'll judge you for not being the perfect match in some way, shape, or form. And you're just like, bro, what? Actually, hold on. Let's do that. I hate that women are always right. That started in the last 20 years. Women are not always right. Like the concept behind women are always right comes from the idea of, and this is the better term that you guys need to understand, happy wife, happy life. There is some truth to that statement. Like, if you piss your wife off, you're just going to be miserable. Any predictions for the next event early in September? I did. Avalon gave me a little bit of a brief thing, and Trubs was talking to me about some stuff. Kind of true, yeah. Hate the phrase, I know. But basically, sorry, I'm also like dealing with Steve on the side here because he's needing to like get access to the server and stuff again. Yeah, so it's an early September event. It's locked behind your deal call 0. It's apparently the setup that leads into the Grand Rider Grand Duel. So kind of how we had the Lotto be what led into the Grand Lancer, this is going to lead into Grand Rider. The event, however, does not have FQs. Now, chat, there are a couple styles of event that don't have free quests. One is a tower, which I will say doesn't make a whole lot of sense for a raid or for writers, but hey, it is what it is. Story only event. Yeah, you could have story only, so that would be basically something like the murder at the Kogetsuken and stuff like that. It's like that'd be cool if they did it again, but I don't know that they will. 3 would be a Grail front. However, I will say this. I think you can cross this one out based off the dev anniversary interview. They did pretty much explicitly say we will not get to a Grail front this year, not until the end. So unless that was just a lie to throw us off the scent, because that was a question that was asked, is like, hey, what happened to the Grail fronts? We haven't had them. Okay, there you go. How can you tell it doesn't have free quests? It's apparently part of the announcement that they made. So I don't think it's a Grail front. There's one other possibility. I'm not sure if chat has considered this. Technically not free quests. What if it's tower but horizontal? What if it's a tower but it goes down? Fuck. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. You have an inverted tower and it goes down instead of up. Is Cad thinking Nemo? Well, remember, Nemo is basically Noah. And Noah was Grand Rider on arcade. Okay? Sorry, I had to go get it. Imaginary Scramble had no free quests? Yep. So a 20,000 floor tower? Yeah, but remember most towers are 200 floors. So 20,000 is not that difficult to divide up. Basically every floor is 100 leagues. Yep. That actually works out perfectly. The other one, and Trubs brought this up, is our boy, I think he called it Umibozu, which apparently is like the Japanese version of the legend. So we could get a bait and switch where it could just be like, oh, hi. I accidentally clicked in here. I'll be right back.
では前に出ます
I accidentally clicked into VIP as I was going into what Trubs linked me earlier. Basically this dude, Umisachi Hiko. But yeah, so like this could be something where we get to see like part of one and maybe part of the other. VIP scare, yes. Like Trubs would be the one to ask for more info on this. He was explaining it all to me and I was like, bro, I'm sick. Because like my brain just fogged over as he started getting neck deep in it and I could not handle it. We should get SSR Lulta Rider. That'd be cool. We're missing a collab event. You're not getting a collab event this year. Because technically we already had one. Strange Fake? I mean, first we got to get the Strange Fake anime out, man. That's... Chat, we've made it to episode 2. That's coming out this year, finally. We're on episode 2. Just wait, chat. I can't wait for it to be like a 48 episode season. And like we'll get done with it by the time I die. Another 11 years? Oh, no. To go down to the anime history books? It very well might at this point. That's sad. It is what it is, chat. Also, did I miss something? There's just not a lot of you guys on tonight. Kind of wild. Not used to it. I guess FGO low-key kind of dead at the moment. But to me, not so much. Maybe they thought you died? Clearly. Next announcement will be that it's canceled. I don't think they can. JP is slowing down for a while post summer. Probably a bit slow until December. No, I think it's just a natural lull. I think at the end of the day, people are just saying like, hey, it is what it is. There's not a whole lot going on, right? Plus, I'll be honest with you guys. This is why I don't like taking time off from stream. It feels like whenever I do, I get penalized. I mean, it's Friday night. I was going to do something after this. That's true, but usually Friday nights are good for me. beat Olga's ass during the rest period. Yeah, I thought about doing Flare Olga tonight, but I was like, dude, I don't know. Like, I don't know, like, mentally if I can handle it. Not that it's like a super hard one, but just like, hey, this might be a good idea to just like take it easy tonight. People are starting school, college soon. True. I won't be staying up late. It's all good. If you want that loot, you can enter and quit. No, I mean I'll do it. It's not an issue. It's just like I legitimately need like a clear mind for something like that. That just kind of is the way things are. I think I'll do that. Yeah. Like I said, I don't think the first two Olgas to me are not super hard. I feel like most people can get through them. But like the third one's going to kick your teeth in basically. Yeah, I think we still have like 10 or 11 days left. I can 6-slot this with Smello, so that's been neat. I mean, I'm 5-slotting it just fine. It doesn't really bother me. I've just basically been not trying to think too much. Okay, let's start buying stuff. I have no idea where I'm at on the shop right now. Six slotting here is just for bottom anyways. Yeah. You gotta front load the hell out of all your teams. I know. Oh, there is a bond grail. Yeah, chat, we do have I think it's like a week from now, we have the Metal Gear remake coming out. Oh. Feeling better? I'm actually feeling better, even though I'm sure to chat it looks like it's not the case. Okay, so we got the good embers out of there. Actually, I don't really particularly need any of these bronze mats. Did I have the ability to combine, or did I already combine my MLBC? I did not. Wait, now I have an extra. Weird. Is Cat excited for Silksong or neutral to it? I'm pretty neutral to it because I've never played Hollow Knight. But so, chat, hear me out. I did hear that Team Cherry said basically that, like, oh, there was no reason for the 7-year delay. It's just how long it took them. There was no like big delay or anything that they did. Like there was no issue with it. It's just like, hey, it is what it is. And I just want to say, chat, if you believe that, I have a bridge to sell you, because in that 7 years, we had this little thing called this that I'm pretty sure everyone would acknowledge that it drastically affected workflows in just about every single industry. So, like, oh yeah, 7 years, just like it is what it is, right? It's how long it took us. We have a small team. And it's like, yeah, your small team was also probably having to work completely remote, swamped by COVID for a while. Like, it doesn't mean that like the game's going to be bad or anything like that. But but I will say, it's like, just don't believe them that there was no issue. Of course they're going to say that. Of course. Ugh. I don't think it's that nobody smells it, chat. I think it's just that, like, people just want the game so bad, so they don't care, right? Oh God, Mr. K has COVID? I might. I don't know. I definitely have some of the signs, like a really high fever and being unable to regulate my temperature, extreme aches and pains in my lymph nodes. But I didn't like lose smell or taste as far as I could tell. Though admittedly my dinner that I ordered tasted like garbage. But I think it's because like they overcooked my meal. Elderberry, if you have it, I literally take elderberry quite frequently during this stuff. It's great. I have this thing called Sambucol, which is basically elderberry with some extra stuff, and it's amazing for stuff like this. But yeah, don't take it the wrong way, chat. I'm not trying to sit there and say like, oh, like Silk Song's gonna be bad or anything like that. Just that, like, it's so funny to watch them sit there and be like, oh yeah, there were no issues. I'm like, sure. I can't name a game in existence that has had no issues. You take Sambucol? Nice. Yeah, I may be pronouncing it wrong. It may be Sambucol. I don't remember. I don't think I actually have COVID. Like I said, it's possible, but I think like if I did, I would not be on the mend already. And I think I would have been so bad that I had to go to the doctor. Chat, let's actually go over to NA here first before I start doing some of those challenges. COVID just made me hungry and a minor body ache. Yeah, see, whereas I have like all the sinus pressure stuff going on, like for instance, as I swallow, I can hear it in my ear. So it's like, I suspect I have something else. Oh, okay. So chat, we also got Pilgrimage Festival. I have not recorded a video for this, but it's kind of late. So at least I think it is. Is it already out yet on A, or does it start tonight at reset? You might have a sinus infection. That's what I assume it is. Tonight? Fuck, that means I can record a video. Okay, Esther, you around? uh Let's see. I actually like on NA at the moment. I kind of have a hard time figuring out what I want to do because there's not a whole lot of stuff for me to do. Speed run time, yeah. Chat, she getting there. Did you finish your class score? I haven't touched my class score in a hot second. I'd have to actually look to see what I've done on it. But no, I'm just talking about like spinning down my AP and stuff. Like I've done, I think I've done every single strengthening from anniversary already, except for like one. I think I just have like 2 more runs on it to do. I think it's the Keo Lancer one. One day she'll be 120 CAD. One day she will, yeah. About this pilgrimage festival, they might also do the back to school campaign. Well, I also like probably Monday, especially if I'm feeling better, I need to go over with you guys the One Gina event because that's sneaking up on us real fast. That is early September, and I'm actually like low key surprised they haven't already mentioned it. But NA has been kind of dead here for a bit. One Gina soon. Yeah, One Gina's event is relatively unremarkable. I'm not talking about like story, right? Because again, like with it on JP, I had not read the story, which reminds me, I still gotta read the story for this at some point, but good lord, I don't feel like doing it while I'm sick. Or for summer. My brain saw the background and immediately transitioned into summer mode. I've been doing bleached earth and blue apples. Yep, and you're gonna see that's a very common thing. There's a lot of people that get their 3 runs done by doing their bleached earth nodes, and then they just make blue apples the rest of the time. And that is why the devs tried to do things to combat like blue apples and the bleached earth nodes. I think the devs have come to the realization after all this time that like the bleached earth nodes were not really a good idea. That it basically gave the players way too much of an edge, both in terms of farming efficiency and other stuff. And it was also so much to such a degree that like the player base would basically just ignore other content for it. Have I done Fire Olga? I have not. And like I said, probably not tonight because of the way I'm feeling, but I mean, the next Grail War event's coming up. Oh, that. Grail War is like October, I think. It's the Ptolemy event. That one's interesting. That one's actually a really cool event. Hunting quests are basically dead time, yeah. Between One Gina and the Grail Front after it. Well, keep in mind, I'd have to go look at the schedule, right? Did they tell us? Because I believe they did, but did they tell us on the roadmap when to expect the Ptolemy event? Because I think it'll move up a little bit. Early September? No, that was one Gina. They said mid-October, yeah. And we also have the 3,000 days, which is the return of a Castoria banner and a 4-star ticket. I need to ask Avalon precisely when that is, because I need to make content for that. I'm actually lacking AP. I basically had spent some of it down already, I think, so that's part of the reason. Okay, so let's get to making a video chat. Huh. I don't remember this banner. Yeah. God, this improved the skills so much, dude. Dad, you gotta wish me happy late birthday. Happy late birthday. A video about Kuro so close after Miyu. Yeah, I'm gonna get hit by the child safety laws in Britain. The time playing Tsukihime, Fate Stay Night, Hollow Ataraxia. Actual best use of my time. Yeah, I don't blame you. Oh. Ah. Oh. Got a like huge pressure headache right there on the side of my head. Happy late birthday, Cad. Oh, it's not my birthday, but ugh. There needs to be on a watch list. Are you okay, man? I'm just getting over being sick. Hence the stream title. Okay. Hey guys, starting today, we are going to have the Pilgrimage Festival Part 4 on an A. So, with the prior ones that we've been making here, I've talked to you guys a lot about the Evocation Festival, aka Pilgrimage Festival, and which units I think are actually worthy of your purchases. Because again, especially for you newer players, you maybe won't have a full like amount of the Evocation Festival leaves, things that'll actually help you purchase all of these welfares. Now, generally, we're going to talk about each one here, but generally, the best advice I can give you guys is to basically say, go ahead and focus primarily on getting the base copy, the Noble Phantasm copies, and the Ascension materials. Those should be your first priorities as to what to purchase. Leave the coins out of the equation for now if you're worried about having enough evocation leaves. The coins get really expensive. They can certainly help, but they are non-essential to just getting the unit to operate at a base functionality. That's where things like the Ascension mats are going to be way more lucrative to you in terms of actually getting the stuff online. Now, again, Pilgrimage Festival is really, really good for us. Every single time one of these rolls around, we get old welfares that come back to the game. So you newer players have the opportunity to, again, collect some of these units. And even for older players, maybe if you didn't get to finish a unit or you skipped an event, you could now pick it up or complete the unit before that you couldn't otherwise do. Basically, one of the big things you guys need to know about is that this is actually a really good Pilgrimage Festival for a couple of reasons. Most of the time, I would tell you guys to just pick one. This time, I'm going to have to make the case for all three of these units because all three of these units can be good in their own right. And you may be thinking, well, hold on, Cad, one of these doesn't seem like that's the case. But let's very quickly, before we go into that, talk to you guys about instead the other parts of the campaign. As you guys can see here, we do get limited time master missions. It's basically just going to be about doing Ember Gathering a couple of times, clearing free quests, basically, if you haven't done them all already, and then obviously doing stuff like leveling up the units that you guys get from the Evocation Festival. So potentially all you have to do is get one of the unit to level 40 and you're good. You're not going to have to do anything more than that. And once you clear all of the missions, you will get 2 quartz and a crystallized lore. So it's definitely quite nice. Is the lag that bad? I literally stopped the recording because when I start seeing people saying that it's lagging, I have to basically stop. So okay. I don't know why this is. It has been buffering since the beginning? Not since the beginning of stream, I hope, because if so, that's on your end. It looks good now? Yeah, no, the only reason it looks good now is because I ended the recording. I also didn't put on the black camera background, so we'll try that. All right, let's restart this. Okay, so we actually have the Pilgrimage Festival Part 4 coming to NA here. Again, it should be out by the time this video launches. But this one's actually a really interesting one. I've made prior videos on all of the Pilgrimage Festival stuff, and you guys should know that usually the Evocation Festival, aka the Pilgrimage Festival, is a good time to get your welfares. Now, especially for newer accounts, this is a big deal, and it's one of the reasons that I make the video is to give you guys a little bit of an explanation as to who you should pick. Now, my best advice for you guys to kind of cheat the system a little bit is to focus primarily on getting the first copy of the unit, getting their Noble Phantasm copies, and getting their Ascension materials as well. Skip the servant coins, hold that out until later. You don't necessarily need them right away. They're not required to make the unit function at a base level in most cases. So, to me, servant coins end up taking a lot of your Evocation Festival leaves, so if you're worried about having enough, you definitely want to skimp on those. But usually my advice is, hey, let's tell you guys which one of these I think should be your go-to that you should pick first. This is going to be one of those times where I'm not going to do that. And the reason why is because Evocation Festival 4, aka Pilgrimage Festival 4, is really good. This one actually has 3 very solid welfares that all do different things that you may want to acquire. So I'm just going to make the case for each of them, and I'm going to let you guys decide. Now, some of you guys may be thinking, well, hold on, Cad, one of these here is not like the others, and they're maybe not worthy. But let's go through the rest of the campaign. You'll see why first, and we'll talk about them at the end. So first off here, you guys are going to have some limited time master missions, things like your Ember gatherings, things like clearing free quests on the main story map 3 times, and then basically leveling up one of the welfares from the campaign to level 40. If you do this, you'll get more Evocation Festival leaves. If you do all of them as well, you'll definitely get a ton of quartz and some crystallized lore there. You're also going to have a rank up quest coming out into the game at this time, and that is going to be for Irisfield. This is a buff to her first skill, and it's actually a very solid one. This takes her Sacrificial Resolve, which just used to increase her own healing power by 50% for 1 turn on a 7-turn cooldown, one of the arguably worst skills in the entire game. And it basically turns it into a very much improved version. So she now gets healing power increased for 3 turns instead of 1, and by 100% instead of 50. And this also charges her own gauge by 50%, as well as increases the party's NP damage except for herself for 3 turns. Now, this is not going to fix all of Irisfield's issues, but this does deal with primarily her biggest one, which is getting back to her Noble Phantasm after you use it. You see, Irisfield has always been an art-centric unit. She has a triple arts deck, but her NP gain rate and the gain rate particularly on her cards is rather atrocious. She had no real way of getting to a Noble Phantasm herself, so this is one of the things that's going to help that, at least for probably about 2 rotations here, you should be really good. And the reason this is significant is because Irisfield's Noble Phantasm actually does give the party gut status for 1 turn. So it is a really, really nice protection mechanism, and it's going to make Irisfield a welfare option for you as somebody that is a healer, as somebody that is a sustained support. She may not be the best one, but she is a decent one, especially with this change. So this is going to be a nice one for her. Now, basically, we do also have a summoning campaign here at the end, and that is going to involve Artoria, Iliasveal, Jeanne d'Arc, Siegfried, Miu, and Emiya Assassin. So we actually have quite an interesting lineup here in that regard. None of these units are anybody that you necessarily have to have. Several of them are very good, very solid, but it is what it is. This is just an opportunity that you can choose to take. But keep in mind, NA will have other things coming up like the Wangina event, the Ptolemy event, and even potentially things like Thanksgiving, where we don't necessarily know what to expect because the devs change it up from time to time. So just, play accordingly and take your best guess as to what to do with your courts. But when it comes to the Evocation Festival here, I kind of already made the case for Irisfield there. So Irisfield is basically, again, a sort of like welfare sustained support. She has some competition with the likes of Asclepius, but he's a story locked. Actually, I think he's either story locked or limited. I don't remember which, but basically 3-star. And so, like, a lot of people said, like, oh, well, he kind of counters her. He's a lot better than her. And to some degrees, he is. But at the end of the day, he can be a little bit difficult to get your hands on. So Irisfield could be a decent option. Though the people that are running around with, say, like Castoria, I think a lot of people would tell you it's probably just better off to run Castoria. So where is Irisfield good? Irisfield is going to be good when you can't rely on someone like Castoria. So what do I mean? Well, maybe if the enemy has defensive buff removal, because Guts is not considered a defensive buff. It's considered a restorative mechanic. So therefore, if you have somebody that has defensive buff removal, they will carve right through a Castoria unless you are taking something like buff removal resistance. But the alternative here is to run somebody like Irisfield to make it so that, well, at least you have a fallback option. So there are some interesting options there. There is also going to be someone like Miu, who is currently on the banner coming up here. So if you roll her, you might not necessarily have to have Iris feel as much, but that's a little bit more for sustained healing, a little bit less for party-wide protection. So you have to ask yourself what it is that you feel like your account actually needs. Obviously, there are units as well, like Proto Merlin and things like Tamamo that can also do similar healing capabilities. But at the end of the day, it's really just going to boil down to, again, that hard survival mechanic for Iris Feel. She's not going to be the strongest unit. She will be a little bit clunky to use, but if you use her correctly, she can actually be very effective for you. Now, next one up here is going to be Sieg. Sieg is collectively known as Cardboard in the community. If you ever see anybody referring to him as that, it's because of the events of Fate Apocrypha, and if you know, you know. But honest to God, the version of Sieg that we get here in FGO is a lot better, and frankly speaking, he is a very, very good welfare. He's probably the best caster welfare in that regard. So he is an arts looping AoE caster. He has 30% charge. He's anti-dragon. He has NP gain. His one downside is that his steroid is an arts up that only lasts one turn. But otherwise, his damage performance is pretty good. He applies defense down before damage goes out. So I do think he's a really, really solid option if you're just looking for a looping caster. And he definitely does his job very well, especially at NP5. Next up here, we have Kuro Archer, aka Chloe von Einsburn. Kuro is absolutely fantastic as a single target archer. There are many good single target archers in the game, and I'm not going to say that she is the best. She's not. But for the fact that she is free and you can get all 5 copies, she is as strong as a lot of the 5 stars and can actually 50% charge herself and allow herself to keep going. She has pretty decent crit damage. She has a really good steroid. So at the end of the day, to me, she actually works very well. And if you do line things up and you manage to get crits on the back of her NP, she can actually potentially loop just off of her cards, though that is a little bit tough to try and pull off. So to me, she hits very hard. She's got 50% charge. That alone, plus the hard survivability baked into her kit with at least a 1-turn evasion, makes her a very solid option. If you're looking for a good archer to help carry you through the early parts of the game, particularly things like Camelot or Lost Belt 2, or even deeper into the story, Kuro can absolutely help you in those regards. So again, if I had to pick one, she probably would be the one that I would pick for a lot of people. But at the end of the day, all 3 of these are really, really good options. So let me know what you guys are going to pick for the Evocation Festival campaign, and will you be rolling this banner or will you be saving? I'll be curious to hear you guys' thoughts. I will see you guys for the next one. Thank you all for watching. Have a good one. I need more honey. I'm literally just putting honey in my water right now, chat. It's the only thing keeping my throat going. Okay, come on. Come on. Honey, why are you so viscous? Actually, you're not. You're not very viscous at all. Ah. Good job. Thank you. Yeah, no, I think a lot of people are going to shit on Iris Veal, but I hate to say this. Like, for instance, chat, new player account, it's probably going to take Kuro first. But it does need this. The new player account has no real healer other than Proto Merlin. And if Proto Merlin for some reason doesn't work, it's fucked. So I would not mind backups, but we'll see. It may be that she's the third man up, but it's definitely going to be really good. This is the Pilgrimage Festival. Low key, I was waiting on the new player account. More cute caster, so I'll take her. Yeah. Like, and I can't stress enough how much this buff does help her. I think what's so stupid is that they left the cooldown 7 turns. It is not too strong, La Single. Fuck off with that shit. We have some absurd skills. Like, okay, clearly this is too strong of an effect, right, chat? But this isn't. And we could technically get this down to a 2-turn cooldown. So. You didn't roll a Buki though, so Sieg is great. Yeah, you're not wrong. I probably could use a good looping character. The issue at play is that currently at the moment, my account has Oberon, Proto Merlin, Castoria Berserker, Waver, Ask, Nidocris. Notice a trend there, chat? So if I add Sieg to that, like literally of my like high octane units, that will mean 4 of them are casters. It's not that I can't handle it to a degree, but I don't think he's going to be looping anytime soon for me. Chat, tell me what you guys think of this. Because this song reminded me of it. I'm just waiting on chat to realize. Omedeto. Congratulations. I'm just not playing it just so I don't get DMCA'd, but absolutely fantastic. But yeah, so chat, we have a new event coming up on JP soon. That's going to be followed by the Grand Rider stuff. NA has Pilgrimage Festival, probably going to be followed by one Gina event. Or close to it. I don't know what the heck I was doing here. Oh, I think I'm doing caster dailies. Which I don't think are still around, so it's probably going to error me out. Damn. I tried. You still need to do the Grand Rider vid? Oh my god, dude. I don't think I need to yet. Not if we have an entire event ahead of it. I'm back on an Evangelion kick. So, what is the appeal of Evangelion? Like, just out of curiosity. Because, like, I've seen the original. And I get the whole, like, meme of, like, getting the mech Shinji. But, like, the thing I've never understood is why, like, Evangelion is so popular, especially, like, the later chapters. Suffering? Okay. It's emo, depression, pain. Okay, never mind. I'm glad I've not gotten into this. Eva's just great. Listen, I'm not going to yuck anyone else's yum. I think this is maybe a good time for me. Because it all returns to nothing. Chat, I think the new player account needs to get its button gear, so we're going to be doing story here. E pluribus unum. So, just FYI, a little bit here that's happened. We'll back out real quick here. I have advanced a little tiny bit here into story because I think for like one of the missions I had to do it. We haven't touched the new player account in a hot second, but it's still been doing stuff. It's just like I've been doing various things on the side, leveling up units. I have not rolled any since the last time you guys saw me other than like FP. So nothing changed in that regard. For a long time, I didn't get the end of Evangelion. I get it. It's just nostalgia for me. Understandable. But yeah, we actually need to advance at this point. Oh wait, I could probably roll one more time there, couldn't I? Well, whatever. Unlikely to get something that I actually need at the moment. The main things holding me back are just literally essential materials already. I think this is for writers, yes. There was one for assassins here going on. So, we do have Ushi, but she's kind of locked out at the moment. Oh, wait. Ooh. The question is, do I need those proof of the hero? I don't particularly need Ushi leveled up at the moment, so we'll sit on that. But yeah, we haven't really done much of anything. If you've maybe missed an episode or two, I gotta create like a playlist of the new player stuff. But basically, we're still going to be operating on the same premise as we normally do. This is ironic, but we'll actually take her in the back line here. What are we dealing with? I could use a good AoE Berserker. We did not roll a Buki earlier. A Buki would have been really good for this account, but one of the justifications for why we didn't is because coming up here, probably later in September, there's going to be a Castoria banner, and we know that. I've planned for it, and I would love to get Castoria on this account. So that's one of the other reasons to do story. I'm going to get a lot of courts from doing it. This is a perfect time to get caught up. And also, if you're wondering why my voice is a little bit raspy or why I'm wearing a fleece, it's because I am sick. This is my first day back streaming after being gone for like 3 days. So, realistic speaking, I could take like Castoria Berserker here, but it's probably not the best option. So this may be one where we actually just take a nice, strong AoE. Somebody that I think can kind of just do the trick here. So we're going to throw Ace back in. She's basically our best unit in that regard. We have worked a little bit more on her skills. Still not quite getting her up to 10. It's really hard also to level some of the other units here. But as you guys can see, we are making do kind of as much as we can. That'll give him an evasion at least. We got Jerker in the back line as backup. Yep, we'll just go with that. Cad's down with the sickness. Yep. Again, I'm skipping through story. Highly advise you guys to read it. I know I've said that many times already, but FGO story is one of its main attractions. I've just already done it. I don't need to reread it, and it would take this forever if I did. But feel free to pause the video at any point if you guys need to go back and look at stuff or you're just trying to get stuff done. Now, this should be a little bit interesting. It is a 3-wave node. I have basically 50% charge here. I have not quite 50% charge here. And then potentially not quite 50% charge there either, as this is only a level 6 for me. So we're like, look at it like somewhere in the realm of like, probably like 42% off of this and probably like 46% off of this, or maybe, yeah, somewhere like that. So the other weird part here is Oberon. Oberon's also pretty much going to be a 50% charge for me at the moment because I don't have anything leveled on his second skill there in terms of charge. So we're looking at basically somewhere in the realm of like probably around 150% charge, which she's already starting out with 70%. The concept of 3-turning an FGO and basically trying to make a unit handle all 3 waves is that you need 300% charge to do that, no matter how you get it. Now, obviously, you need it at certain points, otherwise it won't matter. But I have this concept that I call solving for 300, and it basically works out. So you can see she starts out at 70% here, so we only need like 30% in this wave to handle it. Simultaneously there, you would need another 100% on wave 2, and then another 100% on wave 3, and that would make it work for you. So we'll go ahead, we'll try a little bit here, but I don't think this will perfectly 3-turn, also because I'm not going to get that skill pressed here on turn 1, which would certainly help me out. But if it fails, it fails, and this is just me trying to show you guys how this sort of thing can work. I look like a sheep? Yeah. Like I said, it's just I have had a fever as well the past couple days, so that fever has thankfully broken now, but I'm also not wanting to let it come back at all, so I'd rather be a little bit warm than otherwise. We'll go ahead, pop that. You guys can see only 44%, so not 46, so not quite what we were hoping for. If we do one of these, that's going to get us up to 64, so that's worth a solid 20. This is probably only worth 30, and the unfortunate downside of Oberon's second skill here is that it will drain you basically at the end of the turn. So if possible, you are best using this at like the third turn and stuff like that, but let's see. I maybe can switch out here for Blavatsky. She does actually have her first skill, but I don't know what level it is. It is level 8. This might be enough. It's just enough. So thankfully, we should get this skill back, and then combined with Oberon's skill, it might be enough for a 3-turn, but I also highly doubt it. We'll also just go ahead and pop this. It is her NP strength up, but it's also a star gen skill. So now, America's actually not too rough of a singularity, but I will add that kind of towards the end of it, you start getting what I would consider to be the game's like first more difficult fight. It's certainly not impossible, but like if you're someone that's been coasting through until now and you haven't really had any issues with the fights, you're going to notice, okay, so we actually didn't get it back the next turn because, again, it only decreased it by 1 instead of 2, so it was what it was. My brain is thinking after the waiver buff that just happened on JP that that's still a thing. So we're not going to have perfect synergy here. This is going to be a 4-turn for us, but we can make the best of it here, and we can basically mighty chain into a scenario that at least gets her enough charge. Because, again, partly what I'm trying to avoid here is the Oberon drain effect happening too soon and then basically bricking me out of the ability to get to my Noble Phantasm. So there we go. We popped her third skill. We pop Oberon's third skill. And the reason you have to be careful is with Oberon's third skill, this one in particular will brick your unit. There's no real way around it other than the unit killing themselves, and that's it. So it's something you have to be very, very careful with, and something that you should definitely take seriously. Pop it only on the turn where you think you have the best shot of killing. Do not pop it too soon. You will brick the unit and they will be unusable for the remainder of this battle. And that's why, like I said, back when I was talking about rolling units, Oberon is not the best unit for a new player account. Ironically enough, he's very strong. He's the game's best damage amplification support, kind of. So at that point, you would think it's like, oh, he's really good. Well, in the wrong hands, Oberon can be a disaster and people won't use him correctly. And then they'll be like, oh my God, what did I do? So he's really, really good if you use him right. He's really, really bad if you use him wrong. There's certain things you got to watch out for. And I say that like this will probably happen on one of these times. Oh, okay. So just FYI, I did make one exchange for myself. one deal that I broke with myself. And that was I followed myself. I have not added myself to my friends list, but I have followed my main account. Now, my main account is pretty cracked. It is what it is. And if you want to see it, not to like humble brag here, it is a very, very stacked account. I'm a huge Saberface fan. So obviously, if you like the Saberfaces, this account is like a dream for you guys. But I also have other units that you guys can take on support, units that are very, very strong, and potentially can also be really good for you guys. So the reason I went ahead and I allowed myself this is because you can follow anybody. The issue is you're only going to be able to use them in story content. So I went ahead and I followed myself because you could also follow me as long as you have my friend code. And that is very easy to get. Chat definitely does it all the time. I'm not sure if it'll show up here in the actual on-stream chat. I don't think it will because it filters out bot commands. But basically, there is at least the capability, and I can ask Okayist, my editor, to throw up the friend code basically on the NA screen if you guys wish to follow this account. Again, it's not like the best account ever or anything like that, but it is a very strong account. It has been playing since basically the beginning of NA, and so it is definitely a well taken care of account. I have never missed a login bonus or anything like that, so it is what it is. But yeah, I allowed myself at least that little thing. So I have not added anybody else, but it is an option you guys can see. Naturally, this is where one of those deals is. It's like, yeah, why don't we take my unit here and let's see how strong it's going to be. Now, I probably don't have enough to support her properly, and I do, ironically enough, have a Black Grail on her, which I probably should not have. I should probably have a different craft essence on, but I also told myself I'm not going to switch craft essences for myself, so it is what it is. That's my own fault. And then let's see here. Well, I don't really have another support yet, so not too much I can do. I can actually do this, and this will start her cooldown a little bit, but she would need to NP. You know what? Let's not. It's probably not worth. And what we'll do here is, well, it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't matter. So I did level up Tristan a little bit, but not going to be able to take him too much further. So I can keep him here in the back line. Oh, he is already bond 5, darn it. All right, hold on. Who needs to be bond 5'd? So this is one of the things, once you start getting established, you actually want to work on getting units to their maximum bond. This will actually really help you out because this is how this unlocks things like various strengthenings and how should I put it, like interludes for them. And that's going to be how you're going to improve your units. Some of these units are at their base amount not very good, but when you level them up, when you bond them up, and you get all of the access to their strengthening stuff, and you do it all, they get a lot better. So I can't emphasize enough just how much of a difference that can make. So I really, really, really want to tell you guys, like, again, don't look the gift horse in the mouth in that regard. It can be very, very solid. We're actually going to go with Mages Association here. Except for one day where we were all made equal. Yes, that is the only day that I've ever missed on my NA account, because basically everybody had to forcibly miss a day due to the mess up by the by the NA devs. Which is really funny because JP had an issue later that month and they fixed the login issue for JP and they never did it for NA, which feels bad, man. Again, it's perfect. It's only a 1 out of 2 battle, so I can actually kind of just go to town here and just showcase her relative strength. So, should be good in that regard. Now, one of the things about Lartoria is that she's not the strongest unit right now on NA. JP has given her 2 recent buffs that have really helped her out, and she is actually now the strongest AoE Lancer in the right hands. But that's only with like a very specific setup. I'm not going to say that like you can't get that setup. And in fact, a lot of that actually has to do with Waver just recently getting a buff here. So, but that's on, again, the JP server. So that's going to take some time to come to NA. NA won't have it just yet. Actually, this is really funny because this still might not be enough. Yeah, actually, it will be. So we're going to be fine. But she's very much a like singularly focused, just looping Lancer. That's her big deal. She does at least like give you the whatchamacallit, like the charge after the fact. So it's really nice. Better than Mel and Erish? Yes. Yeah, she actually beats both of them right now. I think Erish can still win if she's in her Earth niche, but I think if like Lartoria has her niches, she would win. I'd have to look at it. So I tried to record earlier, Ocast, and it didn't work. Chat was getting on to me about how choppy it looked, so it's not a tale a newbie would know. Darth jailed her. Listen, we don't need the UK's what is it, Ofcom or whatever coming after us. So same deal here. Now, normally I would just be like milking FP, but we're already at the point where I'm not going to say FP doesn't do something for me. It does, but I'm getting less and less value from it. It's not as strong or as impactful. So, also, I just love using my favorite unit. It is what it is. I will rescue. Thank you. Appreciate it. My problem with her and OG Sabers, their turn 2 being very weak. Yeah, I like it's just a issue with how they've designed them. And it's kind of like nutty in that regard that like they haven't seen fit to give them like 3 turn durations on some of the stuff. It would definitely help out a ton. Like even in Lartoria's case, right? Like because she has the special chaotic and evil, like you could still leave this at 1 turn but make the Buster card effectiveness 3 turns or something like that, and that would appease a lot of people. But the problem with that is then people would double this up, and then you would have a really like scary monster on your hands. So I don't think they're going to do something like that at this point, but it is what it is. Now, at least the good part in their case is because it's 5 turn cooldowns, a lot of how you can operate it is, depending on how you set them up, if you use like say a 50% C or something like that, you can still make it where, because the 5 turn cooldown, you set it up on turns like 2 and turn 3. And then you basically get it on the turns that you would actually need it instead of turns 1 and 3. But the problem with the way like the waiver composition works that gives her the most power on turn 3, you are going to have to like pop it on turns 1 and 3 for it to work. Mid Omega, thank you for the follow. Okay, so this is a 1 out of 3. Not gonna do too hot here. So I probably shouldn't have popped some stuff there, but well, let's just try to cart our way through. It's not gonna be great, but oh, there we go. You got that. So let's see what a 3rd slot arts card can do from Oberon. It works. All right. So that actually saves us a little bit of charge. Now this one's going to have to be an NP. And I still do have that, so we should be okay. Finally, after years of playing, I have my Muramasa NP5. Yeah. That man took so much of my Saint Courts over different banners. When I first rolled him, when he first came out on JP, we didn't have pity yet, and he absolutely cost me more than pity, and I didn't get him. I ran out, and I had to say, it is what it is. I'm not going to spend more money on this guy. And still to this day, I do not have him on JP, which is kind of wild. My NA, meanwhile, has like NP5, and he showed up super easy. So, could not explain it. I just had to be like, all right, it is what it is. So there we go. So you guys can see I had 80% and now I'm at 110. So this tells me that Oberon's third skill is exactly 30% charge. Now, if I really wanted to see, I could go check it out and it'd be fine. It should also be noted that because I'm using the Mage Association Mystic Code, I'm getting 20% charge off of that, which means that I am not getting, like a Mystic Code attack power increase or NP damage up or anything like that. So these numbers are, I'm not going to say like unbuffed numbers, but they could be even better. And absolutely, they could be better if I'm using like some of the more appropriate sports. I'm glad you're feeling well enough to stream again. Thank you. Appreciate it. I feel like every time someone says that, I cough. I also got 4 SR Saber Spooks. Damn. Wild. $10 tickets, not 3? Okay, I was about to say, it's like, give me that man's number. But no, that's good. Like, honest to God, I like hearing people get lucky in the game because it's kind of like we were talking about with that Twitter conversation. It's like I feel like there's so many salty people with FGO because they lack perspective. They don't understand the way things are supposed to work. Oh, let's see if Kadroth showed up again. Oh my God, it's Kadroth with the steel chair. So this is my OG Saber now, and we'll see if this will be enough. OG Saber only has 30% charge, but she functions very similarly to Lartoria. But no, I like hearing people get lucky because I think it's a good thing for the game. I think it really highlights that, like, yes, there are downsides. There are points where you're going to get unlucky. I hate that to a degree. I haven't gotten unlucky. I really don't want to get unlucky on the Castoria banner, but if it happens, it happens. But that's one of the reasons that we're also in, like, story mode here. We're trying to save. We're trying our best to get as much as possible. Okay, so this is just a 1-out-of-1 Karna fight. We're just going to basically buff as much as we need to for damage output. And we're just going to go to town. And one of the cool parts about Artoria here is she has her mana burst skill is called Dragon Core, and this actually changes if she has a command card currently in the deck. It will change it to a Buster type if it wasn't already. So it's really, really nice. Now, we can try to shuffle. We can see if I can get a different one. I didn't. I just got like pretty much the exact same thing. But it is what it is. We're also at 35 stars, so if I really wanted to be like sneaky here, I could do something like that. And you know what? Let's go ahead and show this one off in particular. So this is something else that you guys can do particularly. So now we have all the stars here, but you'll notice I charged up waivers. So I can actually put waivers in P first. This would give overcharge. So you can see NP chain bonus gain. This gives overcharge to Saber's NP. Now, unfortunately, Saber's NP just gives her more charge on the back end of her NP. So after she uses it, she'll get more charge given to her, which helps her get back to another NP. But for the purposes of trying to one-shot Karna, not a big deal. So why am I doing this? Because setting waivers in P first means I get a defense down. So I get even stronger Noble Phantasm out of this. Though, frankly, I probably will not care or need it. So there was the defense down. He also got stunned, which was nice. Waivers in P can stun, drain, apply curse, and apply defense down. So it's a really, really strong NP. And he's kind of the basis of what a lot of the early game, like back in the first couple of years, like stall comps were made of. A lot of them involved using waiver and some tandem of like maybe Tamamo or something like that to try and keep units from getting to their Noble Phantasm as fast. Hold on, chat. Let me blow my nose. Oh god. Okay. Sorry, I knew like chat did not want to see or hear that. That was pretty disgusting. So it's what it is. Okay. John as well was stalling. Yes, though John originally had the issue of being a unit that stunned herself whenever she noble phantasm. So that was definitely a little bit more of a problem. Not something that people necessarily wanted to deal with, but John at the time was one of the best options to kind of use. Okay, Rama got his sword. All right, so this one, ironically enough, I do not have good assassins really yet. Now, this is kind of funny though too, because writers and the guest servant is Geronimo. Writers kill casters. Why they give it to you here, I guess makes sense for story, but it's like for the actual fight, no, this is the dumbest thing imaginable, so it is what it is. I could take my Koyanskaya and use her as a support. She's actually a really, really nice support unit. If you guys have never seen her, she basically has 50% charge and the ability to reduce skill cooldowns by 2 for a single ally. So that's one of the ways that Buster units can loop quite a bit is by getting back to their skills multiple times, particularly their charge skill. And they do it through the Koyanskaya system, as we like to call it. Same thing here. She also has a Buster up for 3 turns. She has an anti-human and anti-man attribute type of buff here as well. So she's a really, really strong unit for supporting, but she can also be used as a devoted damage dealer. But in that case, mine's not necessarily good for that sort of thing, nor do I necessarily have somebody that's going to be solid for this. So this one may be more of a job for, again, something like a Berserker. Just going to run in here, going to take this, I'm going to swap Oberon out, and we're going to put in instead Proto Merlin. Now, Proto Merlin is also 1/1/1 for me, but hey, she can kind of do the job a little bit and supporting things. And this has actually been how a couple of the comps have gone for me, where if a node falls apart, I have been able to do like 90 plus and 90 plus plus nodes on the side. I actually did the hunting quests. I did 90 plus plus the entire time. I probably shouldn't have. It made them take forever, but my account was able to do it by dropping into a combination of like Proto Merlin, a support Castoria, and my own Castoria Berserker, and kind of just sitting there and forming what we like to collectively call the Immortal comp or the Invincible comp, depending on who you talk to. So that comp is a very, very good challenge composition, and it's not impossible to kill, but it's very difficult for the AI to actually get through it and do anything with it. Cheeky would help out if she was available. Yep. Well, I can go and get Assassin Shisho. That is definitely possible, but with the way my account currently is, and because I knew the 4th Evocation Festival was coming up here tomorrow, I basically said, nope, we'll sit on our Evocation leaves. That will be better for us, and we'll come up with some other like means in the meantime. Oh, I also have that. Okay, so we will be able to 3-turn. She basically needs 10% charge off of this because Ibuki Berserker has a 50% charge on her 3rd skill. Proto Merlin has 20% charge, guaranteeable on her 2nd skill. And the Mystic Code has 20% charge as well. So odds are we won't even need the Mystic Code. Yeah, there you go. She refunded 57%. So we technically don't even need Proto Merlin, aka Lady Avalon's skill. There we go. We'll go ahead and do it just because more damage output, and then we'll send it. So this is kind of what 3-turning looks like in a lot of kind of realms. And if you have a good unit, if you support them properly, it can work. So this is one of those deals where your goal early on in your account is going to be figuring out ways that you can kind of set yourself up for success. One of those ways is by leveling up units of, classes and trying to cover your bases and trying to make sure that you can deal with whatever the game throws at you. But also, you want to try to eventually set yourself up where you can loop. And the reason why, and I've seen people before, they say like, oh man, I'm so tired of everybody talking about 3 turning and FGO. They're like, why is everybody so obsessed with it? The reason is simply ease of gameplay, peace of mind. I see a lot of people complain that the farming in FGO is really hard. I see a lot of people say like, oh, this is such a like boring game or something like that. But the reality is most of the people complaining don't actually study the mechanics of the game, and they can't actually get themselves to a point where they can succeed with it because they usually make poor decisions. That's one of the reasons why I'm trying to teach you guys a little bit of a better operating mechanism. So you can see we have split between a knight class as the sabers and a cavalry class as the riders. So this is opportune for a berserker. Now, here you go. We have mine right here, but the problem with this is mine is a NP5 Musashi Berserker. Musashi Berserker is also a looper, but she is way more of a refund looper, so we'll show you guys. But she doesn't really have the same, like, charge capacity that Ibuki has. So Ibuki is much better for, hey, I don't have the proper supports for this. Musashi will still do good work, but is probably going to suffer because of this. Am I trying to get Doman for this account? Not at the moment, no. Like I said, the big one here is Castoria, and then from there we will try to nail a, like, AoE. Somebody that's probably like a good AoE berserker, like a Musashi or an Ibuki. Now, this is interesting. This is a 2-wave node, but it's only a, like, 2-node battle. So we can do this a couple of ways. Now, the interesting part about Musashi's first skill here is that it applies evade for 1 time and increases critical strength for 1 turn. But you'll notice the evade 1 time doesn't have a duration, which means it does not expire until she is hit. So you can abuse this aspect a little bit. We're going to go ahead and do that. We're not going to pop her 3rd skill. It's actually a lot of her damage output, but she probably won't need it here to kill. I'm just going to take the free arch changed in case I need it, but I probably won't. Musashi suffers in 1-1-1 stages. I mean, to be fair, so does Ibuki. And if someone tries to claim otherwise, I'm going to question your sanity for why you took Ibuki to a 1-1-1 node. But, like, yes, right? Like, in regards to that, like, Musashi can be made to work in certain odd structured nodes, but you usually require a lot of support. She's a very refund-based unit. As opposed to a unit that maybe has charge in them and they don't have to rely as much on their native refund, right? So she actually got back just enough here, so we're good. Now, this is the other interesting one, and this is an interesting time to illustrate this. So if you guys gander at this here, she has 15k HP. Part of that's just, Musashi as a unit, her natural, like, HP and attack stats and stuff. But the other part of this is because we actually have an HP up effect coming from that skill right there on Lady Avalon. So HP up is different from healing, but it is almost just as good, if not better. And allow me to explain. Healing, if let's say Musashi had a low amount of health, right? Healing could heal her up, but let's say instead she was just missing a smidge. If you tried to heal her, it would cap out. In other words, you would not be getting very much out of it. So, like, for instance, this effect right here, I'm not sure how much it is base. I think it's like maybe 500 or something. But if she's lost anything, and I doubt she has, it wouldn't do very much to her. So you can see, like, if I heal, that heal just goes into the abyss because you can't go beyond your maximum. So why is HP up different? Because HP up will actually increase what your maximum is. It will heal you the amount of the HP up immediately right there, and then increase your maximum for the duration of the buff. So you get the best of both worlds. If you go over, you still basically didn't waste it until the effect ends. And even if it expires, you still got whatever the amount of the heal from it was. So it's actually really, really, really nice. And it's really good. Yes. So, for instance, as we pop this third skill, you can see it applies a defense down, it gives her an attack up, it gives her invuln pierce, but it also just absolutely took 5,000 health from her. But that 5,000 health is 5,000 health from the maximum that the new HP up created. You could also apply the HP up after the fact and it would have the same effect. So it doesn't matter when you use an HP up in that regard, other than, maybe trying to strategize it for avoiding things like buff block or something else. But so that makes HP up very good. It doesn't mean it's like super cracked and like, oh my God, I can break the game now with this. Just in the sense of like, it is a very, very flexible buff type and it works wonders for you. So in that regard, if I knew that was coming, once her HP up gets rid of that, it will actually go back down, but she'll still have 10k HP. She'll still be able to keep the amount that she had. So the maximum will go down, but she will still be good. Maybe less healing? No, significantly less healing. Completely less healing. Also, you do realize that this is an A, right? So we don't have Tiamat Archer yet. That's a new JP unit that just came out with Summer that chat's referring to. And she's actually a very good support. I have a video out on her right now about like how good she can be, including demonstrations and like starting it out. Now, the problem that you're also going to have, though, is that you are reliant on card RNG, and then people will say like, oh, that's not a big deal. And I will laugh at them as they inevitably struggle at certain points when it happens. But it is what it is. Let's see here. So we have the entire night triangle. This is actually a really good time for somebody like a pretender, but maybe won't do something like that. Yeah, why don't we go with this? Let's show you guys Arcuid. Arcuid is a moon cancer, so she'll be neutral to all of these units, but Arcuid gonna mess some stuff up. Oh, whoops. That's not what I wanted. Actually, I think I had a 5-star CE on him. Yeah. Quick card effect is... Oh, it's the 20 crit stars when entering the field is why I was using it. That's not bad. But no, I mean, usually I'll get people and they'll say like, is there any point to using a unit? There usually is. I'm not really sure why people ask questions like that, other than they're maybe legitimately curious themselves, or maybe they're, I don't know, like misinterpreting something. It is what it is. Team Invuln on NP is way better than Team Invuln on an 8-turn cooldown. True. I do agree with that. Absolutely. But also, a lot of the times you're using her, it's a safety option, not a like requirement, right? This is a 1 out of 3. Again, we know I basically have 50% charge here, and I basically have 50% charge here. That is 100% charge. So I have 200% baked in here, but I need 300%. So we're just going to card this first wave out. It's basically the easy way to deal with it. And I'll probably have to spend 2 turns on this unless I get really lucky. Looks like I'm getting really lucky. I got really lucky. I got triple crits there when I absolutely shouldn't have. Okay. So now we're just going to go ahead, give her the charge that she needs. You're going to fire off her Noble Phantasm. Arcuid is basically from Tsukihime. And unless you're somebody that gets triggered by the existence of FGO, of which you probably wouldn't be watching this video anyways, you should be fine. But if you are one of those people, I'll just say this is Arcuid from FGO. Uh, Why use either OG Merlin is just playing cooler. Yeah, I mean, like, this is one of those things where it's like, chat, we've had solutions to the game for like years. Why do you use X or Y? Well, because you want to. That's really all it is. The game is not so hard in most cases that you need all that stuff. Once you understand the mechanics, it's actually pretty damn easy. And so you can actually see Arcuid does get a skill seal, defense down on enemies and attack up for herself. But if she is fired off her Noble Phantasm, you'll see this little effect up here. Field Change Millennium Castle. And basically, every time she fires off an NP, it's going to take effect that turn and then also for 2 turns after that. But the reason it's significant is because Arcuid also has an imply invincible 1 time for all allies, buff remove resist for 1 turn for all good allies, and if you're on Millennium Castle battlefield, increase the NP gauge for all allies, excluding yourself. What does that look like? Well, if I pop this, there you go. Basically, my 2 supports just got a butt ton more charge. So you could definitely use that when planning your comp. It just is going to require you to fire off Arcuid's Noble Phantasm first. But basically, Buster has a whole lot of capabilities nowadays through various units and through various supports of actually getting the charge that Buster needs to deal damage. Arcuid from FGO is so popular they made a whole visual novel about her, yes. I have very low tolerance for people that are deeply upset with FGO. I kind of understand it, but also at the same time, it's like you don't see FGO fans sitting there saying Tsukihime is trash. Why are they trying to distract Nasu or anything like that? We just appreciate the work nonetheless, and we are some of the biggest, if not the actual biggest, Nasu fans because we have like everything from all across the Nasuverse here in FGO. And we have a tendency to appreciate all of it. Okay, so this is 2 different rock, paper, scissors triangles that we have at play here. Why don't we go ahead and show off a Draco here. Now, unfortunately, I believe this is in the wrong ascension. So it is what it is. Yeah. Maybe we don't use this one. Chad, I'm getting very scared of some of you that have grailed your Dracos. Why don't you guys have her in the 3rd form? Well, it is what it is. I was going to show her off, but I guess not. He lives. Praise to the God Emperor. Thank you, Jade. Appreciate it, my man. Let's see. Instead for like Berserker or something like that. Maybe there's something different I can take. I think I've shown you guys Raiko. I think I've shown you Arjuna Altar. Senno Rikyu. Ooh. All right, let's show you guys Senno Rikyu. I can't support her properly, but we will try. This is not going to be the prettiest thing ever. FGO robbed me of Nasu continuing notes, yeah. I'm kind of thinking about getting back to FGO NA. Is now a good moment? It's particularly dead. I wouldn't say it's like there's good rewards at the moment, but we are getting the evocation festivals now on NA, so we are starting to get the welfares for free, which is really, really good. If you want to join now, go for it. I think like whenever people ask me these questions, my usual advice is like just start, because the longer you wait, the more you're going to miss out on, the like less quartz you'll accumulate over time and stuff. So. But it just really depends. If you're not like in a good space and you want to like actually do it, then definitely hold off. Okay, so Senno Rikyu is kind of like Ibuki Berserker, where she is a like looping charging unit. Now, the difference with her is she's only a 30% charge instead of 50%. That's maybe one of the things that holds her back, but if you do support her properly, she is a, as we like to call it, Black Grail Looper. That means she can start from 0% charge, which basically means you can use any craft essence in the game. And the reason we say it's a Black Grail Looper is because Black Grail is the strongest craft essence in the game. So it's just, it has 0% starting charge, so people just assume that's what you would be using. But not everybody has Black Grail, including this account, so it is what it is. I think you have to clear the arcade collab in order to see the third form Draco. Oh, you are right. I think you are right. But it should default to second form, right? Which isn't the second form the dress form, or do I have that backwards? No, maybe you guys are right. Maybe it is. I think I do have it backwards. Holy shit. Well, there I go, accusing people. It will be the back to school campaign, probably. There's such a gigantic backlog of story that anytime's fun to join. Yeah, you're not wrong. I think like that is one of the big things that I would emphasize to people. Now, I don't know if this will have enough firepower to kill here, but we will try. I'm gonna take the triple quick chain here so that at least if this fails on the back end, I have some power. Okay, and there you go. So now you guys can see this is what happens when an Oberon bricked unit. So we used Ending of the Dreams on her and we didn't kill. So now she has a taunt for 3 turns. She is permanently asleep. She cannot take any action. And you can see if we get her cards, there is nothing we can do about that. So this is a good time to shuffle and hope we get something else. There we go. We at least got something else. Thankfully, that should be able to kill. The good news is it's not a huge deal. We're so close to being able to kill the Soul Eater that, like, we just mop it up in the next turn anyways. But that can get a whole lot worse if you use the Oberon third skill at the wrong time. You can't see Oberon's third form if you don't have him. Right. Chat. I'm gonna real quick just get some more water for my... Oh. Oh. Okay. Whew. Ugh. You have to have the unit to unlock the quest, yeah. Okay, so we're dealing with a Lancer. The only battle that you guys may have missed early on that I already covered was a dual Lancer battle of about 150k. It was not too bad if I took a relatively powerful AoE Saber on support, and that just kind of worked. I don't know if this is the same deal again. It might be, it might not. So we'll run it back and we'll see. Yeah, Sinnoh Riku is also another one where you can't see the third form unless you've done certain things. I just tuned in. How you feeling? I'm feeling all right. I'm definitely under the weather. I definitely am fighting off a sore throat, but energy wise, I'm a lot better. Oh wow. Again, if I wish to card through stuff like this, I definitely can. Assuming this crits. And it did. And I don't even have to worry about really overpowering her. In fact, I'm not even going to use anybody else's buffs. This is just my saber under her own power, because it will kill. A big factor to this is not only the Noble Phantasm level, it's also how much I've leveled the character. It's how much I have foed the character, so increased her attack strength and stuff. But also, she has a craft essence equipped that has been leveled all the way up to 100. So that means it has 2000 attack power on it. Now, not every craft essence scales with attack power, so you won't be able to get that off of everyone, but it's a very selective one. It's very good. And it absolutely just gives her the sheer like power that she needs to power right through this. And that's something that you guys can kind of do yourself eventually. We have talked a little bit about leveling up craft essences early on in the game. It's really not to your benefit to do so. It's pretty costly measure, but it's still a good idea to know how to do it. It involves a technique called craft essence bombing. And if you ever want a guide for something like that, feel free to go check out my guide video on it. It's a couple years old, but it's still completely relevant and absolutely a really good thing to do for your account. Leveling up your craft essences, if you don't do it the right way, can be extremely bad for your account. It basically can just absolutely drain you of QP if you don't understand what you're doing. So please do yourself that favor. If you feel like you have a good craft essence and you want to level it up, make sure that you go out of your way to actually do something about it first. We could try this. I don't know that that's going to work too well, but of course it's not, because it's a wyvern. Why didn't I think about that? AKA it's a rider, and both Oberon and Waver are not going to do good against a rider. In fact, I'm actually surprised how low they got it. Gonna take the triple quick chain here, because this will kill. But basically, it just gets me some additional stars for the next turn. Okay, what am I working with here? This is probably my best course of action. So a little bit, the more you learn the charge mechanics in the game, the easier stuff like this gets. But sometimes you have to be a little bit creative, and it helps to do that stuff. Managed to beat all the advanced quests. Hey, nice. Congratulations. I have not started the advanced quests on this account yet. They're not particularly hard to deal with in the most part, but there's also not a, like, outside of getting, like, quartz, there's not a, like, big pressing need to do them either. We just had the hunting quests, and even then, I would have had to scramble really to get like even one of the C's MLB'd in time. And there's really only like 2 good MLB C's right now. I think, no, I think there's 3, but it is what it is. We're gonna go ahead and give her the NP boost. There's really nothing else we got to do here, so just kind of fire this one off. I am feeling a lot better, Eniko, but I'm still not good yet. That was the Olga Marie quest on the main account. I have not touched it yet. Told chat probably not tonight because mentally not necessarily there yet. So we will save that for, you know, probably Monday or Tuesday. Oh, this is good. I'm actually getting hot. It's been a while since I've been able to feel hot. I'm not talking about my appearance, chat. I'm talking about my actual temperature. I've had a fever the past couple days, so it's like I literally one of the days I went and I laid outside with the dogs in the 95-degree Floridian heat, and normally that would like bake me alive. I was able to just lay there and just be like, this does like nothing to me. Let's take Aikide here with his Space Ishtar. We'll try to show her off a little bit. Space Star is probably going to be better suited with an art support, but this will really depend on a lot of things. So it does help. Sometimes getting some sun, and that's actually why, like, I don't know if chat can tell, but like my arm is at least a little bit tanner. You probably can't tell, not on stream, but I'm surrounded by a bunch of like white lights, so it is what it is. And I'm also just normally white myself. Some super grail units to counter some of the ways. Oh yeah. I'm not too worried about Flare Olga myself. It's just one of those deals where it's like I just have to be in the right mentality to do it. And I'm definitely not right now. So we have a pretender, so we are actually card effective here. We'll stagger cards, and we'll just try to see if we can card through the first wave. Usually your first wave is a weak wave. There's numerous ways you can handle it. This is where a lot of people use their like Arash and stuff like that as a 1-star, and it works wonders if you handle it right. And we'll start using that tactic more when it starts getting out of the cardable range. So she actually did get her arts up. This third skill that she has basically an 85% chance of quick arts and buster effectiveness. And so that's why we didn't get the quick one, but we did get the buster and the arts one. She is by default an arts NP, and we can press this skill to change it, like what card type her NP is. But so this works out really beneficially to me, and that's why I was like, hey, you know, like let's try to target one where we don't have to utilize her as an actual like quick or buster option. Either Cat is sick or finally awakening to his mutant powers. Yes. Too much of a headache? I understand. Gil Oberon Koyan strat along with Luvia because her class advantage is over moon cancers. Yep. I think I used Martha there, but I don't remember why. I don't have enough. Well, yes, I do. So you could also just select the card you were already using. You don't have to do both. But another thing here, you could do this to get her more overcharge. And why you might want to do that in this case, because her overcharge is NP strength up for 3 turns. So the more she loops, the stronger she will get. So getting her more overcharge is actually a good thing. So go ahead and show that off. You guys get to see Proto Merlin's NP. Proto Merlin's NP basically gives you max HP up. It gives you stars per turn, and it gives you NP charge per turn. It's very, very good. Very, like, awesome as a sustain unit. She's not going to be the sole thing you need in a sustain comp. You will need, as someone was mentioning earlier, again, like the fact that she has invuln, but it's on a 7-turn cooldown, is definitely her weakness. And if you can manage to get somebody like Castoria alongside her that can spam out the solemn defense with her kind of constantly getting noble phantasms, that's a little bit better for protecting the party. So combining the two of them makes a really, really potent, high octane like capability of both being able to apply pressure to the enemy, but also not being able to feel pressure from the enemy. So it works out really, really well. Do you have recommendations for the upcoming SR ticket? No, but I will be making a video for that, so I wouldn't worry about that. I actually don't remember. Does anyone in chat know off the top of their head how long America is as a singularity? Like how many chapters? Okay, so we have a saber here, so archers would be good. Oh, please. Let's use Jarcher. I really want to show you guys Squirtoria. Let's use Jarcher. You'll get to see Squirtoria one way or the other, but Jarcher's actually a really, really strong looper. You'll be probably pretty surprised at how capable of a looper she is just with this setup. I can look it up. Yeah, please do. Just for curiosity's sake. 22 chapters. Okay, so we're on chapter 9. But we still got a long way to go. Quite a bit of time. Yeah, generally with SR tickets and stuff like that, it really just depends on like you, for instance, like how much you want to get stuff done. So it's only a 1 out of 2 battle. I can't show this off. Oh, it's 9 enemies remaining. So it's actually bad that I'm doing all the buffs here, but it is what it is. We'll probably be fine. Jarcher is one of those types of units. So there's a couple of arts units in the game that their refund is just so absurdly strong that like they can kind of just loop through just about anything. There you go. So you can see she got 58% despite her only really like art-centric support being Lady Avalon there. Actually, just go ahead and pop that. Give her the defense up there. Now, this is where it's going to start getting a little bit spicier, but unfortunately we couldn't... Well, I guess I could have popped the... I could have cheated that a little bit, and I could have gotten Lady Avalon's MP that turn, but probably not the best of things. Jarcher and P's overkill here? Oh, it absolutely is. Absolutely is. Song request keeps dying tonight. Well, at least complete the 3-turn loop. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to prop Proto Merlin's NP. This is going to get me more NP charge per turn. It's actually really good in terms of this will help facilitate another loop. I'm not going to full loop, but I will at least get closer back to another Noble Phantasm. I looked up an infographic. Limited SRs will be on the next ticket. Yeah, I'm not prepared to talk about it at the moment, chat. But no, I mean, SR tickets really just come down to like one, what your account needs. If your account doesn't need something, then you start looking at like what is it that it like maybe desires. And then from there, you start looking at like rarity and exclusivity. So things like a limited or a story locked unit have a little bit more of a higher like demand than other things, because you may be after coins, you may be after not having to roll again, that sort of stuff. Well, this is actually kind of low-key hilarious, but we're going to go in inverted order here because I don't actually have any art-centric buffs at the moment. And you can see, even with her extra attack, she got just enough charge still to get back to a Noble Phantasm. Yeah, you're not doing crap to me, Fergus. Let's do it like that. Shame Kuro's too new. She's turbo busted as a support. Even if you legally have to keep her in first ascension. The real problem that I have, like for instance with like Proto Merlin and Oberon, and even if I had gotten Kuro, would be like my biggest issue on this account right now, absolutely, is like Ascension mats. And all of those classes are just Ascension mat only. So they are really, really rough for a new account. Random question, what's your favorite season? Like, of a show? Or you mean like, of like, Earth? Because I would argue that answer is winter. If we're talking Earth. The 4 seasons, yeah. But the reason it's winter is because no hurricanes. And it's like I'm in between like tax seasons usually at that point. So it's also the holiday seasons. So at least I have fond memories of the holiday seasons in my past, though lately there have been drama with families. Okay, let's show off Ace, how she should be. 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 Ace, Cat can't tan in the winter or get a sunburn. That's not true. You can absolutely get a sunburn in the winter. Chit chat. You can get a sunburn from the reflection off of snow. I think she gets like 8% per turn, which is not the best. I'm not going to be able to do anything with that 8% per turn. Oh, wait. No, never mind. This is mine. She gets 10% per turn. F it, we ball. I'm sitting here thinking like, oh my god, like this is not going to do enough. But this is my main account's ace. So. Darty called me a word. That's fine. Under and Creamy say hi. Hello. Let's go with that. How was Anime Expo? May I remind you, Cad, you were sick 20-minute warning? How dare you? How dare you tell me to go to bed? Oh, now Burning shows up too. Yeah, Bob was saying that my plot for being sick was actually a secret plot to join them in Anime NYC, and I'm like, no, I'm just actually sick. It is what it is. That will not be enough. Shh. That will be enough charge. Never mind. We can do it, chat. We have it. We have the power. This might be an intervention to get you tucked into bed. Oh yeah, I totally understand. But I'd like to make some more progress here. Creamy and Andre are ordering pizza. Are they going to order a deep dish pizza from Chicago? Did Cat say Anime Expo? Did I say Anime Expo? If I did, I meant Anime NYC. Is FGO getting an Anime NYC panel? No. Part of the reason for that is because Anime NYC is happening right now. Normally it happened like October-ish, if I remember correctly, in the past. So it's like it's happening too soon. They're not gonna like be there and make the announcement about like Thanksgiving and stuff. So it is what it is. I don't really know why they chose to handle it that way, but is that Moon Cancer Kiara? Okay. Let's show Moon Cancer Kiara off. Moon Cancer Kiara hits exceedingly hard, but Moon Cancer Kiara does not loop well, even though she's an arts unit. She's very dependent on having good supports. Andre has no glasses, so we had to get him a prescription and then pick it up. Germans. November, maybe cold weather. Yeah. Is that Death Clock? Yes, it is. Awaken, awaken, awaken. Why does that feel good on my throat? Actually, no, never mind. No, it doesn't. Oh, I should have actually popped that skill right off the bat. So this is her Mermaid's Flesh skill. It basically gives her a, like, you'll see there'll be a little ring. And I'll point them out when we get them. But basically those rings power up her skills. And she gets more powerful effects from both of the other two skills the more of those she has. Do it like this. Next year for Anime NYC is also in August as well. Yeah, I assume that's a permanent change. So, like, I don't think they're going to keep doing this. So you can see why people like Summer Kiara. that Noble Phantasm is pretty good. See, there's the problem though. She only refunded about 24% for an arts unit. Yeah, I'm not supporting her as properly as I should, but that's not great. And this will be a problem. So here is the ring that I was talking about. So we went ahead and we used it on the third skill. And we got the extra stack of Bewitchment, as it's like to call. This basically gives her super effective modifiers on her Noble Phantasm. That's kind of just the best use of it. This isn't going to be the greatest because we have a pretty high health enemy and it is neutral to her at best. So this is not looking too hot. But we are basically just going to go ahead. Ooh, no, never mind. We're going to go ahead and pop that, get a little bit more Noble Phantasm out of it. Now, I could take this and get the Mighty Chain for a little bit of extra damage, or I could go for just more charge off the arts card here. It really just depends. I think we'll go for the outright damage. And we're going to try to get as close to a kill as possible. Nice, AK. That's because you're too excited, Ash. I'm still awaiting the side-by-side picture of all of you. I need to see you lined up. I need to see you all perp walked. So, chat, just FYI, I'm honestly, I'm proud of these guys. We have a significant portion of VIP went to Anime NYC this year. They all met up, including Andre, who is from overseas, and like managed to like get together and like as far as I know, they're having a blast. So like it's awesome. It's nice to be like, even though I'm not there, it's nice to like feel like I'm a part of it. So it's like I always like seeing that stuff. I like seeing the community be an actual community at times, and it feels good. America, yeah. When it comes to actual raw damage, Summer Kira is up there, held back only by her class low refund and mandatory ramp up, yeah. But yeah, raw actual damage output, she is solid. And I remember because it was like back when Artoria got Dragon Core, I think she was actually the highest AoE in the game at the time. And then immediately after, Kiara came out, and I was like, what the heck? But like, Kiara does have some limitations, so it kind of makes sense. Yeah, whatever. Let's just show off a Draco. Draco runs can be kind of hilarious. This will not be the fastest run. You got gifts to you, Papega Lemon? Oh, God. I don't even want to know what they bought me. If it's Maestro that got me something, thank you, Maestro. If it's the rest of you, I'm terrified. I'm actually terrified. Maybe, you know what? I take that back. Maybe Creamy. Maybe Creamy. Creamy's bought me something before. It's all sus things? Yeah, it's... I'm gonna get a bad dragon in the mail, chat. Like... okay. So, I don't know that I'll be able to 3-turn because I haven't seen the next turn and what it is yet. So, let's go ahead and let's do something like this. So, Draco is a beast. And beasts are unique. They're relatively new additions to the game. Right now, NA only has her. We're about to get Space Airish next year. And then the year after that, well, JP just got Olga. So basically you guys get a beast, and a beast each has its own unique mechanic. This particular beast, Draco, literally deals effective damage to the 7 base classes, the 7 original classes of the game, so not the extra classes. That's Saber, Archer, Lancer, Rider, Caster, Assassin, Berserker. Okay? So that makes her almost as good as a Berserker in that regard, but to some degree, she doesn't have the same weakness that a Berserker does have. So it actually makes her really, really nice. But she is unique. Other beasts are not going to have the exact same effect as her. But so while she is single target, she can be used to just carve her way through stuff. Just kind of showing you guys how she works in general. You usually want to go left to right on all of her skills, and definitely don't touch the third skill without the second one being around. It's just the way the skills work are kind of wonky, but they make sense if you pop them in order. Now, I do have 20% charge here, 50% charge here, and another 20 here. So that means I have a total of 90% charge, which means I'm probably good to just go ahead and fire off this Noble Phantasm. And that's what I'll do, because I'll show you guys a little bit of how kind of Draco works. But it will be Fate themed. I hope so. Also got you a New York deli sandwich. Might be moldy, but just blow on it. Bro, the only way you would get me a New York deli sandwich is if it was loaded with mayo. I'm not a huge fan of mayo. We actually have another chain here, so 3 out of 3 turn here. We're actually good, solid. And just so you notice, we didn't have to use the Mystic Code. And the reason why is because she just automated like 30% of her charge after her NP. That is how Draco works. She's really, really good at that sort of thing. %50 effectiveness like a Zerker? Yes, unless it is a servant. And she gets, well, kind of ridiculous. So Draco will probably get used deeper into this run. I won't have mine, but... Did Cad just compliment mayo? No, I said I hate mayo. Like, no, not to yuck anyone else's yum. If you guys like mayo, that's perfectly fine. I don't like it. I don't mind it, like, if it's mixed into something and I can't really taste it, but I do not like the flavor of mayonnaise. I don't know why. Never have. When do we get the thing where all servant strengthenings were available even if you didn't have the servants? So it's never really that they're like all available at once. You usually get them released in like batches, Jack. And you can keep an eye out for them. It's on various different campaigns. So just watch out for it when it happens. But when they do them, make sure you do them. Like, for instance, one of the ones that they had more recently on JP was as they were doing the grand stuff and they did the grand duel, they started making like, okay, it's now the Saber grand duel. Here are all the Saber like servant strengthenings and interludes unlocked. So it's really, really nice. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was not interludes, it was strengthening specifically. I always get that one mixed up. Oh, sorry. Wait, did I have it backwards again? Is it interludes, not strength? My brain, chat. Okay, where are we at on this? Let's show you guys a Melisson. The Mel Ruler actually just came out on an A. She is fairly strong for a ruler. Rulers are generally more a defensive unit, but there are a couple of high octane units in the class. They can definitely be beat by members of other classes, but for a ruler, she is very strong. And she's up there with the likes of Karen, who is another really, really strong ruler. And actually soon we will also be getting a buff to Moriarty ruler in the future that like he will surpass even Mel. So like right now she's kind of like the number 2 AoE ruler. She'll eventually become the number 3, I want to say. but still in a very, very good spot. One of the things that she's absolutely amazing for is this third skill. Unlike her normal form, this third skill doesn't change her NP type, but this does give 80% charge. So it's really, really good. Now with regards to this, though, I have 90% charge from the supports, and I have 80% from herself. So we're only, we don't really have enough to loop here, so we kind of need to card this first wave out before I touch anything. You can see we're getting pretty lucky with a lot of the crits. That one didn't crit, but we still got enough. I would have preferred if that one crit, ironically enough, but we might not have killed the first enemy there. So now we should have enough to 3-turn, basically. And you'll see Mel Ruler's NP is actually quite fun. It is basically a Top Gun reference. In your honest opinion, which Saberface is the most submissive and best? I don't think I can answer that one. Not without getting in trouble. Highway to the Danger Zone. That's right. Kenny Loggins kicks in. You can see, boom, there you go. She gets 80% charge, so she just immediately had enough there because of that. Now, she didn't refund a whole lot, but, I mean, when a unit has 80% charge, you usually don't have to. And so it just works. Now, a lot of me talking about some of the stuff, so like when I say 80% charge, it's predicated on you getting the skill leveled up all the way, or you using somebody that has the skill leveled up all the way. I've seen a lot of people over the years that say like leveling skills is for whales and stuff like that. That could not be further from the truth. Free-to-plays can do just about everything in this game that a whale can do. The only difference is usually in Noble Phantasm levels. So that's where, like, oh yeah, the amount of quartz you spend on the game is going to be different. But, like, being able to level up somebody's skills, there's no difference in that sort of thing. I really want to show off King Protea. Let's show off Doman. Doman's a little bit of an interesting one. Guess Oberon? This one's kind of weird. Let me check my backline here real fast. Okay, so Ku is now Bond 5. Let's get him out of here. Basically, once a unit hits Bond 5, we don't need them to be in the backline. Get Paracelsus in there. He needs to get his strengthenings done. Wait, was she Bond 5? I think she's just back there. Yeah, we're actually not far off from Bond 6, so we may as well get it. Switch to a 4-star, see if I have another 4-star to get there. Wow, almost all of my 4-stars are Bond 5. That's actually really good. We'll throw Kiyohime in the back line. Kiyohime is one of the first units we rolled. We really haven't done much with her. She's not in the best place as a unit. It just is what it is. So, in that regard, if I could have gotten a different unit, it might have been better for me, but... Leveling skills is not whales now? Yeah. No, leveling skills is usually just a factor of time and, like, gathering the essential materials, but, like, once you've leveled up the unit, they're done. So it's like I've seen people claim like, oh, I don't have the lores for it or something, and it's like that's usually evidence that like the person is just not playing the game. Like they're not doing like challenge quests ever. They haven't gotten far enough in the story to even do the challenge quests. Like it is what it is. Should have secretly been a whale this whole time, right? Okay, so now Doman is an alter ego. Alter egos are effective against they're semi-effective. So they're like 50% effective instead of true neutral. Against the entire like cavalry triangle. So assassins, casters, and riders, right? So that's where it's like they're not the best thing. Their actual true niche is against foreigners, but in this regard, it's really, really good for them. Now, Doman has some interesting stuff in his kit. I'll actually leave that basically for the final turn because it's not going to need it to kill here. There's Whale and there's Leviathan. Where people determine the differences to be is largely subjective. So I'm going to say it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. NP6 Ibuki says otherwise. Uh-oh. Sounds like it wasn't a secret after all. So one of the things you guys can see is that Doman has a third skill here that will grant him 80% charge. You can see it significantly increases your MP gauge. It'll also increase the attack power of all evil allies and increase the attack power of all chaotic allies and inflict curse for all enemies. The second skill applies guts. Basically gives him some hard survivability, increases critical strength against evil allies, and increases critical strength of all chaotic allies. So evil and chaotic is his major theme. And his first skill here just decreases attack and defense. So it's a good one to put on when you need to deal the damage. That's why I kind of sat on it. Now we're going to go ahead and pop this. And you're going to see Waver didn't get any of the effects, but Oberon did. Oberon got both attack ups. That's because Oberon is both chaotic and evil. You're not going to know that because the game doesn't tell you that in game unless you just know who people are. So now's a good time to talk to you guys about like alignment. So alignment in FGO is a little bit weird. You can logic your way through some of it, but not all of it. And there's a reason why. I definitely recommend going to fandom, getting used to knowing who the who your allies are and stuff like that, so that you understand what you can use to best buff them, but also simultaneously so that you can understand how should I put it, like go against them. Like if you're gonna like encounter an Oberon as an enemy, it's a good idea to know like what his alignment is so you can exploit it. In FGO, and this is only known due to an old interview with Nasu years and years ago. In FGO, alignment is not what you think the character should be. Alignment is what the character thinks they themselves are. And you might be thinking, it's like, well, shouldn't that be the same? And it's like, not always. Like, for instance, you have Atalanta Alter, who is the alter form of Atalanta. We basically call her Angry Cat. Atalanta is just a more extreme version of her that will do everything possible to protect children, including killing someone. To her, that makes her evil. Most of us would be like, you're protecting kids. That doesn't make you evil. Now, this is not to get into the like current like political stuff with, again, the UK and all of that crap, but like the idea of like, oh, like physically protecting children, not like, you know, doing other stuff. But like that therein is the reason why. So it's like her normal form is good. Her alter form is considered evil because she herself thinks that like she is evil for taking that route. So I thought we'd call her Nyalter. Yes. And Angry Cat. Both work. So in that regard, again, you can see he got both crit ups. So basically this just works for him all the round. Now he's not going to get the benefit of the Buster up here because Doman is a quick unit. But we did put NP damage up, and this third skill actually doubles every source of NP damage up. So really, really nice. Wow, these cards are crap. Let me shuffle them. Wow, these cards are also crap. Very cool game. This is actually another good point to demonstrate. Sometimes certain compositions rely on card RNG. Card RNG cannot always save you. There will be times where you just get screwed by it. This is why people try to do as much as they can with Noble Phantasms. Because Noble Phantasms, while they have some damage variance, they will always deal damage. They're not random. Versus like cards, you might just not get the right cards. You might not be able to pull off your strategy. So card RNG can result in some amazing output and damage. It can also result in some hilariously bad outcomes, just depending on what you're trying to do. How would you teach people about units' attributes, or do you think you should just ignore them? So when you say attributes, you mean like man, sky, earth, and stuff like that? I'm going to go teaching people about that. There is logic to it, but it's very difficult, and it's not always what you think. So there is technically a triangle, and chat, help me out here because I do forget sometimes. It's like man, I think man beats sky, and sky beats earth, and earth beats man, I think is the way it goes. So correct me if I'm wrong there. Unless your name is Sealer Ishtar, yes. Yes, okay, thank you. So there are also two other ones, and they are Beast and Star. Don't worry about them for right now. They're basically outside the rock, paper, scissors triangle. Okay? So man is going to be people that are actually human. Or at least like in their servant form, they were somebody that was relatively rudimentary. They were not a god. They were not some eldritch monstrosity, you name it. Okay. That is man. Sky is usually divinity. The other translation for sky attribute is heaven. And that's something you need to know coming off the JP server, that again, almost all of your divines are going to be sky. There are a couple of exceptions, like Ereshkigal, who is the goddess of the underworld, is actually earth instead of sky. So there is some interesting balance back and forth between that. Now, earth is usually reserved for legends. These are things like mythological creatures. These are things for like heroes that were so dang strong, they are practically a god. Like, they are not a god, they're not actually divine, but they are, again, somebody that like has some absurd capability. Now, there's also certain other things that could qualify a unit for one of these. Like, for instance, sky attribute could be somebody that just literally can fly. But this is where stuff like this can get you in trouble. So if I were to tell you that you have wyverns, okay, and I were to tell you that you have golems, you might think would be earth. Golems are normally sky. And wyverns, because they can fly, you might think would be sky, but they are earth. I don't know why. This is just, it's one of those things. We have a running joke on the channel about this, that it's like, oh, golems are sky because they're under the sky, and wyverns are earth because they're over the earth. But like, they are definitely an exception to the rule and not the rule. The best example I can give you is that golems are usually crafted with like magecraft and like pseudo divine like capability, and wyverns are these like mythological creatures. So therein is your maybe explanations, but again, you're not always going to get a perfect lineup. So you can guess. Like, for instance, if you guys want to play a game, we can guess every time I encounter a servant what alignment they are. Sorry, not what alignment, what attribute they are. And I can usually guess them pretty good after years of playing the game. I'm not 100% accurate. I can definitely get them wrong. Now, Star and Beast are their own thing. You're not going to encounter them too often, and they're usually like basically they are counter each other is the way to understand it. And they don't really like interact too much with the basic triangle of units. You'll notice it more in farming. Okay, yeah, so I didn't talk about that. Why it matters is because basically if you have advantage, you get like plus 10% damage against the type. If you have disadvantage, you'll get minus 10% against the type. So a sky attacking man will have negative 10%. So basically the way to understand it is man beats gods, gods beat heroes, and heroes beat man. So think of it like Dynasty Warriors, like one of the generals there just wading through a bunch of like human trash, right? And then meanwhile, man has the power to defeat gods because man can like use logic and stuff like that and be like, you don't exist and stuff like that. And then gods can beat heroes because, well, usually they're the reason that heroes are created, or basically they like the only thing that's going to beat some of their absurd capabilities is somebody that is like unkillable, aka a god. So that's the way to understand it. Okay, so Beowulf. So chat, what one do you think Beowulf is? I'm pretty sure I know this one off the top of my head, so. But this is a really good example. Do you think he is man? Do you think he is sky? Or do you think he's earth? Oh, that's not going to come out. Earth? Yeah, he should be earth. Let's go look it up real fast. There you go. It's that simple. So usually it's not too bad. So Beowulf's not divine. He hasn't done anything. He is just a legendary hero. Literally his story is one of the oldest like transcribed like Western stories. So how do I want to do this? I probably want to set this up for a follow-up Noble Phantasm. Technically, I should actually wait to use this because this reduces skill cooldowns, but we're not going to get back to it if I play my cards right here. I think it's best if we just pop the entire waiver suite here because it gives me the defense, and we're probably going to need that. Go with the Brave Chain, we'll go against Beowulf. Wasn't it like the first Western story or something like that? It's the like first like oral tradition in like Western Europe and stuff like that. Yeah, it's one of the original stories. Kind of like, it's basically Europe's Epic of Gilgamesh. Just not nearly as old as the Epic of Gilgamesh. But still pretty old. Hey, Transpace, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it, my man. Sorry, I'm just adding more honey to my to my water here. I should be making tea. It would definitely help me out, but is Larturia sky? Yes. You know why? You want to take a guess? I love this one. Like, my waifu ends up being a really, like, interesting example of this. Rongominiad. So why do you guys say Rongominiad? let's use my MHX here. Sorry, double X. This is basically the summer foreigner version of her, and it is fantastic. But she's really good at Berserker boss killing, and I suspect we're up against Beowulf again. But if we're not, then it is what it is. Goddess Rhongomanian. Okay, so do you know why that's not true? It can't be the Goddess of Rhongomanian. Because the Lartoria you summon is not the goddess. So, why is she Sky then? Anyone got a reason? Whatever. We'll just go ahead and pop everything here. This is actually an annoying aspect of her. She has a star bomb, but this decreases her own critical star gather rate. So unless you have enough stars, it's usually not worth it. We actually have a good star soaking on the arts card already just by natural luck. So we're just going to keep that. Rongo as the divine construct is a lot closer. And if I really wanted, yeah, Caliente kind of landed on it. If I really wanted to just be nitpicky, she can fly. it's that. Like, at the end of the day, it's probably because Rhongomaniad is a divine construct. The issue at play, and the reason why we could say that that may not be the case, is because Excalibur is also a divine construct. And is Artorias Sky, chat? Like I said, there's some really interesting examples of this. Usually it's what you think, but not always. Uh-oh. And Salter is man. Yeah, Salter is one of the only saber faces that is man. Which is a good one to know because this actually helps her out sometimes. Now, why is Salter man? I'm gonna be real with you. I actually don't know. Like, I actually can't logic this one too well. Because the only thing I can, like, maybe come up with is that she's a, like, man-made creation. Otherwise, like, I really could not fathom why. And, like, saying she's a man-made creation is kind of a stretch in and of itself. Altera is man and she uses a god sword. True, but it's not her sword. Like it's the sword that she uses, but it's originally not her sword. It's the sword of Ares, right? So, like, just because you use a sword doesn't necessarily mean it. So why is Lartoria Sky? I don't know, because she can fly. It's basically just one of those weird ones. Let's work in a Morgan Le Fay in here. Too much junk food, maybe. I can only assume she's man attribute because Alter literally did not exist. Right, but I would think that would make her some kind of legend or something like that, but it is what it is. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's a peculiarity. As long as you know about it, you're good. It's not like something you need to commit to memory necessarily, but it does help sometimes if you do. I actually probably should have saved that and not done it, but oh well. Actually, we should have enough. All right, chat. Which one's Morgan Le Fay? Man, sky, or earth? Earth? Mother? Fair. Man? Man? So she's actually, just like Artoria, Earth. Again, she's from Artoria's legend, right? So... And then there's Double X, who is starred just because space. Well, yeah, like foreigners are usually eldritch monstrosities. And then you have units like Voyager and Double X, where it's like, well, we're a foreigner, but like the actual specifications is you have to exist outside the domain of man. Well, if I'm from a different planet, I'm from outside the domain. So it's like, it's the literal meaning of like foreigner. There's always some like funny stuff with that. Maybe FSN Salter was still human. Meanwhile, the OG Saber we summon is the legend. Could be something like that. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. Granted, we don't have like anything that indicates it's like, oh, this is the concept of Saber, right? I wish. That'd be cool, actually. We've got another split class here, so extra classes or berserkers are usually a safe bet. Or you pick one and you try to counter one of the classes and you just like neutral the other. Go ahead and use Maguma here. Get this NP5 Mama Raiko. Voyager is just foreigner by default. Well, I mean, like, Voyager's actual body is outside the galaxy now. So, like, kind of outside the domain, right? Can't spell Earth without Arthoria? Yes. At least you didn't put an L in it. Oh, it's a 1 out of 2. Interesting. Send it. Tim Curry. Space! My best Tim Curry impression right there. But Aoko is man. Yes, Aoko is man. I think. Right? Actually, let me go double check. I would assume Aoko is man. She's mad until she transforms. Which, I guess, okay. Like, that one kind of makes sense. Kind of overkill here on Raiko. Solar system, not galaxy. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Hey, it's a galaxy, but it is solar system. Like I said, my brain is kind of shot tonight. It just is what it is. Just expect this to keep happening. Yep, Super Aoko Star. Yep. So foreigner equal alien? So not entirely, but yes, it can be determined that like it could mean an eldritch monstrosity or an alien. Man, Ascension's 1 and 2, but Earth and Ascension 3. Yeah, it is what it is. And it's really interesting to see them do stuff like that. The other thing I hate about it is when they start tying gameplay to various Ascension forms, it starts getting a little like restrictive. So I'm not the hugest fan of it. And in doubt, take the Sabuki. He Bond 5 yet? He is Bond 5. Excellent, Paracelsus. Give me another 3-star. Who needs to bond? Billy, come on down. You're not there yet. You're getting there. Have to read Mihoyo before the collab? Yeah, and then watch the new Mihoyo movie that that UFO table's gonna put out, right? and she's man. And that one's pretty easy to explain. It's because she's using a legend and then she's not. Give me all that. She should loop this pretty easily. In 7 years, yeah. No, I've heard good things about Mihoyo, so I hope that I hope that it eventually does get that movie. I just I don't know what UFO Table's doing at this point other than just milking Demon Slayer for as long as humanly possible. Well, that's going to be a 3-turn. We still have her 50% charge, and we have the 20% charge on Proto Merlin and the 20% charge on the Mystic Code, so. I binged Mahoney the week before the collab, didn't want to get spoiled. Jesus. I'll get a Fate Route remake? God, I can only hope. I can only hope that one day we get that. But I'm not optimistic at this point. I feel like now even like one of the things standing in the way would be like for instance like Medea's VA and stuff like that. So it's like it's just not altogether a like good situation. And it makes me sad because I feel like it deserves it, but we're at that point. Yeah, chat, did you guys hear they're nerfing the movement in Battlefield 6? There's people like saying like, oh, it doesn't need a nerf, and there's like montages of people just bunny hopping around, like lasering people down. So we can take Muramasa here. We'll try it out. He'll be neutral against Saber, he'll be effective against Lancer. Got off work. Glad you're feeling better. I am. Kat, can you give advice for the Marie boss fight thing currently happening? I'm struggling a little bit with her. Chat can probably give you better advice than I can because it's been a hot second since I've done it. And like I said, I did not plan on doing it tonight at least. I will be checking it out probably next week though. It is on the to-do list. Well, like it's been like 2 years since I did it on JP, so. Ooh. Huh, we're gonna have to card this one. Gonna try it like that. Yeah, there we go. Got a good crit. It's the best visual novel non-remake that Type Moon did. Nice. I mean, I think, in all honesty, I think something like that is maybe a little bit subjective, but like, if it is really scratching your itch, that's a good thing, in my opinion. Like, I think this is something that just stands over time, is that like the Type Moon visual novels are all really well done. I don't think they stand this long and be this famous if not for that. Am I doing a semi-saber earlier? I haven't even thought about it. Madanad McLear. Mash and Scotty Caster? Yeah. Someone was saying that they basically like invuln comped it. It's the archer fight. You have to defeat them both on the same turn, otherwise they'll respawn with half HP. Yeah, I remember that, I think. There's a couple like annoying gimmicks that they bake into the front end of some of these. Yep. Class score will really help with stuff like this. A lot of the times if I run Bazette, I actually run a Castoray alongside just for the additional protection as well. But yeah, healing and sustain is not a bad idea. Let's just look at the savers here again. Let's take Charlie. Wait, does this one have his append? It does. Sweet. So Charlie is an kind of like you saw with Muramasa there, who is an AoE arts looper. Charlie is a quick AoE looper. I sadly did not pull Victoria. Yeah, that's fine. There are definitely other ways through it. Ooh. God, I really want to use that 70% arts card. Interesting that I got no Charlemagne cards there on turn 1. This is where having a pretender can actually help, because you get somebody that's at least semi-effective for carding. Alright, hold on. I gotta remember which one of these is his actual charge skill. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. So basically that that leftmost skill is just don't put it on Charlie himself, or otherwise he'll MP seal himself if he has invuln. And he will get invuln from that skill. So like it's basically just don't put it on himself if you don't want him NP sealed. And Charlemagne's actually a Black Rail looper in his own right if you support him properly. I don't have quick supports here, so his refund is not going to be the best. But it is what it is. Ah, here's the pair of knuckleheads. We get to refight them. He does actually have an arts card, but I'm not going to use it. He's got double quick cards there, so we're going to go with the triple quick chain. We'll try to focus on Fion, because Fion is an AoE. And chat, what is Fion and what is Diarmid? Answer now. Which attribute are they? Auto with a wave by doubling Black Grail, yeah. Irish, you're not wrong. So this is the problem. We now have evasion, so we're just going to have to sit this one out. But we can at least take a triple arch chain. So this is an interesting thing to denote. He's dodging, so because of that, we basically could not crit him. And then one of those actually got through because, my man had invuln pierce or sure hit. I wasn't paying attention, but basically, I think he had it from the craft essence he was using. So if you come up in that, do note that you can't get a crit in those scenarios. Like if someone is dodging, and that could be significant because it may like deprive you of like extra NP gain and stuff like that. So it is less of a mechanic for the AI to worry about, more of a mechanic for you to worry about. So like if somebody is dodging or invuln and you attack them and it would be a crit, you wouldn't get the benefit of a crit, which is unfortunate. But like I said, Charlemagne actually carved right through him anyways and got a crit because he had a craft essence that had invuln pierce on. Which invuln pierce works on both invulnerability and evasion. which is definitely one of the reasons why people have a tendency to feel like evasion is the weaker of the two. But we have an interesting thing going on JP right now where you have evasion, you have invuln, and you have solemn defense, which is the Castoria buff. And solemn defense now has solemn defense pierce that exists in the game. And that pierces solemn defense and invulnerability, but it does not pierce evasion. So it's kind of finally like balancing the game a little bit better around that. But the problem is as they start to roll stuff like that out, a lot of people's solutions for fights with like Castorian stuff going to make people a little bit upset in that regard. So it's just going to remain to be seen how the devs handle it. Chat, we got all the way to section 13. I'm going to end it here, but mostly because my voice is beginning to fail me a little bit. I don't know if you can tell. It's definitely a little bit more scratchy, and I'm having a hard time like keeping it going. So I'll end it here for tonight. I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow. I should, but I may take the day off just to let myself rest depending on how things are going. Let's see if there's anybody else on and somebody we can raid. I'm not really seeing anyone chat, so we'll just go ahead and end it here, and I will be back when I'm back. I'll let you guys know. If you're ever curious about status updates, stuff like that, get on the Discord. It's the easiest way. I've been letting people know daily, like, whether or not I'd be streaming. If you guys weren't on the Discord, that was how I was letting people know. You can also follow me on Twitter. I'll try to do a better job about, like, posting stuff there, but admittedly, I've not done a great job in the past about that. So I will see you guys for the next one. Have a good evening. Later.